Welcome back to Worcester Council Theater 3000 for another week, December 20th, 2022. Wow, we're living in a post-Avatar 2 world now, Bill. How does it feel?
Dude, I haven't seen it yet, and I'm so mad.
I just saw it today. What an experience. That's all I'll say.
Dude, I need to get the way of the water.
This family is our fortress, everybody. I'm going to be talking about Avatar for the next couple weeks, I think. What that all means, I don't know. You be the judge. Bill's back from tour. Bill, how would it go?
It was good. I learned an impish trickster, and I blacked out in Pontiac, Michigan, while singing "Share" at a game bar.
That'll happen.
Bill, like I have a vote.
Yeah, something happened with your. Now I can hear myself. Change your audio.
Your headphones in?
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. He became a rock and roll star. He doesn't know how to run his own audio anymore. He's too big time for that.
Yeah, I need my guitar tech. Let me try to restart it, I guess.
It's in settings. This is a solid stream. It's in settings, Bill.
We didn't.
No, I know. Your voice is doing it too, even worse.
Really? Hold on. Maybe
no,
it's
not yours, Brian. Travis's.
Oh, weird. Yeah.
I'll be.
Yeah, dude. Take your time, dude. So
I'll be back in this.
Okay, so let's get into Avatar. I just gotta say one thing. My brother went to go see Avatar 2 with me today, and then we walked out of the theater. It's a 3-hour and 10-minute movie. We walked out of the theater, and he's like, "What'd you think?" I was like, I gotta process it. And I was like, "What did you think?" He's like, "It was good. I liked it." He's like, "Yeah, I didn't know what I was gonna think because I've never seen the first one." And I was like, "That's the most psychotic thing I've ever heard in my life." So my brother went to see Avatar 2 without seeing Avatar 1. He's a good brother. He just wanted to go to the movies with me.
That's ridiculous.
I love it.
Oh, mine is doing it too.
Is it really? I don't hear it. I don't know if anyone else hears it. I don't know what your input situation is, but get shit straight, dude. You're the producer, so
yeah. Oh, something just changed.
I changed something on my end. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe Bill will come back.
Our special guest confirmed. Now I feel bad to make Bill. Yeah,
that's so
Eric.
Not coming through back
special
to the system
guest
at me. Anyway, well, let's bring him in. We have a very, very special guest with us here today. He covers cannabis in the city for Worcester Magazine. Travis, please don't have a fight. You guys should not be arguing with each other about any professional, rivalries or anything like that. But he also he runs a Substack called Burned After Reading. Eric Casey's here to talk about cannabis in the city of Worcester. Eric, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me, Brian.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we love having you. A friend
who invited this guy. I'm the only weed writer in Worcester.
Yeah, you've been a friend to comedy in the city. You helped us out a lot with Boot Nanny a few years ago, and we're psyched to have you around. We're psyched to have you here tonight. You're here for a reason. There is there's an item on the ballot tonight, or on the rundown tonight about marijuana. Do you want to kind of give us a rundown of what that is and what's going on with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's basically a pretty minor fix, and I don't think it'll be the most controversial thing, but it's basically to update the city's definition of what a marijuana delivery company is to reflect the fact that there's two different types of marijuana delivery companies at the state level now. There's the courier system and then a wholesale delivery where the courier is more like the Uber Eats model where they can have multiple different dispensaries that a delivery operator picks up products from and then brings them to consumers, where the other model, which they recently added, the wholesale model, is where the business can actually wholesale products themselves. They buy directly from producers and sell directly to customers. So that kind of cuts the middleman is probably the more profitable business model for most of the operators. So that just kind of updates the city language so that people can actually apply for that license at the city level. So I don't think it would be the most controversial thing, but it's an excuse to talk about cannabis policy, and it'll be interesting if it sparks any other discussions about cannabis with any of the other councilors. So.
Yeah, do you foresee there being any? Is this taking this as an excuse to bring any, bring a detrimental argument or an argument against cannabis in the city, or you think that we're past that point now?
I think that ship has sailed at this point, luckily. I think everybody who's against it has kind of reluctantly accepted it at this point, at least in Worcester. So I think it's here to stay. So I don't think we'll see anybody pushing back too hard tonight on this particular bill.
For both of you guys, this is a question for both of you guys. What is the state of cannabis in Worcester? How do we stack up against other cities in Massachusetts? How do we stack up against other states in the country? All that.
You take it.
Yeah, you can go, man. Okay. So I actually just wrote a guide to Worcester, cannabis in Worcester. That's on my Substack. I went up yesterday, so people should check that out. But basically, we are second currently, just behind Boston. Boston, I think in the last month, opened their 14th dispensary. We have 13. So we're one behind them, but we're second in the state in terms of most dispensaries. And we were ahead of Boston for a long time because Boston kind of took a long time to get their recreational stores off the ground, where we did not. So so I think that, combined with the fact that the Cannabis Control Commission is here, and the fact that the Summit Lounge is here, which is the only place in the state where you can really legally smoke weed outside of your own home. So I think there's a lot going for Worcester, despite the fact that the city council hasn't really focused on it as much as I think places like Holyoke and Northampton have been very cannabis focused, where Worcester is just kind of, they've been open to it, but they haven't really invited companies in per se. But I think it's still worked out pretty well for the city overall.
Is that a political stance? Is that a calculation to kind of, if you're too involved in it, is that going to be something that people think they can get hit on, or do you think that it's just such a non-issue that it's not worth pushing either way?
I think it's kind of a non-issue. I think the reason Holyoke and Northampton jumped on it is because they have a little less going on than Worcester in terms of overall economic picture. So I think it's just another part of the puzzle for Worcester in terms of being something that the city is focused on specifically.
I think we got ahead early on, some by chance, some just by the positioning geographically where we are. But I think a lot of other communities are trying to make up ground. And I don't think we're going to stay the cannabis capital of the Northeast for long if we keep on our current trajectory. Because there's other communities take for example Holyoke, they're just taking more proactive stances or steps towards opening more dispensaries and bringing more access.
Well, I mean, and like you said, there's an angle there. There's a small towns without much as far as revenue or reasons for people to go there, and probably politically there isn't as much. There's not as many angles there for people to jump onto. Here, it's probably a passe thing, like you said, so it doesn't help or hurt anybody. And until something major comes up, which I don't see what could be major. We've already passed all the issues. Getting it through was the major issue, and even that seemed to be not a huge. Once it came down to it, it wasn't a huge pushback on that. Now, so what's going forward? What's the major issue? What is the long view for the state of cannabis?
Yeah, so I think there's a few things the city's going to have to address at some point. One is the aspect of community host agreements, which come up in the news a lot when it comes to cannabis. So brief background on those. Those are basically a contract between the city and the business that it's kind of a holdover from the medical marijuana days, because for a medical marijuana company, cities and towns cannot ban medical marijuana technically under state law. So there's no way for them to stop them, and there wasn't a lot of revenue brought into for the cities and towns either, because there's no taxes for medical marijuana. All the businesses were originally nonprofits, and there's no state sales tax on medical marijuana purchases. So the towns found this way to do this thing where in order to open a medical marijuana shop, you need what's called a letter of non-opposition from the city. And basically what they started doing was, we're not going to give you a letter unless you sign this contract with us that gives us 3% of all your revenue for the next 5 years or so, usually is what the contracts would have. So it just wasn't a law that said cities and towns had to do that, but that's just the thing that kind of sprung up during the medical marijuana process that started happening. And they just made it a part of the adult use process at the state level as well. So there's this weird system where, in addition to the 3% sales tax that cities and towns can do for cannabis, they also have this 3% that they can take additionally from the business as part of this community impact fee, which is supposed to go to offset the costs that are imposed upon the city by hosting a dispensary, because apparently hosting a dispensary is something that costs cities and towns money somehow. So these exist, and the money is supposed to be spent on those costs, whatever those costs may be, which has always been a mystery to pretty much everybody involved. But what's happened is a lot of cities and towns have just kind of put this into their general fund and just been using that revenue for whatever they want. So it's still kind of a mystery exactly what Worcester's been using this money for, but it's millions of dollars at this point. And Boston has actually returned this money to the retailers and stopped taking the money from them, because they've kind of realized that they could open them up to legal action at some point. Sure. So it's
Worcester would never.
Yeah, they're not giving that money back, I don't think. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly
why would Worcester give up an opportunity to open themselves to legal action? That's like their number one hobby.
It's their favorite thing. Yeah.
We love to lose, folks. We just love to lose. Eric, have you looked in at all to it seems like they're pretty active in Worcester, but the psilocybin legalization folks that they're looking to like legalize mushrooms on the municipal level. I don't know. Have you looked at that at all? I went to one sort of like little meeting that they had outside of City Hall, and it was kind of interesting. But they want the city council to act on an ordinance to decriminalize mushrooms. I don't know if you've looked into that.
Yeah, not in the Worcester specifically, but that is something that's happening kind of around the country, and it's happened in certain cities. I think Denver is one of them, and other cities. I think in Massachusetts, maybe Somerville or Cambridge did it as well. But that's something, that's definitely something to look at. I was involved with Students for Sensible Drug Policy in college, which is like a group that doesn't just work on cannabis legalization, but other drug policy issues, and that's kind of a major thing that they have been working on. So it's good to see, and I think that's something we're going to hear about. I think that's kind of the next big drug policy issue is psilocybin and psychedelics.
Yeah, mushrooms are sick. Yeah.
Now, Bill, did anybody try and get you to smoke drugs while you were on tour,
or? No, just weed. Just weed, and I'm not a weed guy. I really don't smoke weed because it makes me think about embarrassing things that I did a decade ago and think that everyone's mad at me.
You can avoid that without smoking weed? I can never get away from that.
Default, no matter what, right?
Oh, no, like when I get drunk, I don't think about anything. But when I smoke weed, I think about everything bad that's ever happened in the world. And everyone always says, like, you just gotta find your strain, man. You just gotta find your strain. It's like, no, any weed does that to me. It's like I used to smoke so much weed that it broke my brain permanently.
Hi, Molly.
But hi, Molly. Oh, you didn't say hi to me though. That's kind of fucking rude, if you ask me.
This is our little thing. This is what happens. Person on the internet. That's our secret handshake. Just give it up.
What are these jokers doing?
What are they
What's
doing?
he reading?
Let's pull this up for a second.
City's highest honor. Congratulations and thank you for bringing your music and your talents to the city of Worcester. It's my
pleasure. You're so welcome.
Wow, Born Without Bones being honored by the mayor.
Your voice with the world.
Carabrin, DC.
Yes. Did The Voice air yet? How did she do?
Oh, she lost in the first round.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
I was gonna say we're going backwards. Didn't what's his face do pretty good?
And yeah, Matt, the captioning's not working.
Oh, sound guy Steve?
For some reason.
No, I was talking about what's it? Ricky. What's that kid from Grafton?
Oh yeah, Ricky. Ricky.
Yes.
Gervais.
Ricky Nelson.
Good old
Yeah.
He was having a laugh.
Ricky Nelson.
It was Ricky Nelson,
Yeah.
voice of an angel.
Sorry for partying.
So Kara will be performing in McKeon's Hall tomorrow and heading to Nashville sometime in January. So, good
Dude,
luck.
all-time character. If you ain't first, you're last. Man, that don't make no sense. They're second, third, even fourth. I was drunk when I said that. I love that movie.
Okay, we have approve of the
Classic.
minutes. Motions to
Yo,
adopt.
speaking of that movie's vibe, check out this sweatshirt that I bought at a gas station in
The
Ohio.
person may speak for no more than 2 minutes, and they
Ian,
Ho, 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 ho,
incredible.
baby.
Yeah.
It glows in the dark.
I saw that
All right,
Instagram story.
before we
So
get started, I'm
jealous.
going to try to restart this so we can get captioning.
So I was looking at some items here.
Oh, Aunt Teresa's grandpa's.
Item
Never mind. Fred's already
Yeah,
called.
hold on one second. Let's see what this guy has.
Charge's item about the
Wow, look at that fucking sweatshirt. Shirt, whatever.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Doug.
So
Good for you, Joe.
how do they really define affordable? Because what the city council might say affordable, to the general public, it's not affordable. I don't know how they actually set them rates, what they call affordable. Because, just an example, someone buys a 3-decker, they pay $600,000. The people that are living there prior to that sale might have been paying, I don't know, $1,800 for a first floor. I guarantee you that's going to go up to probably $2,500 to $3,000 for a first floor. So if that's what they
I goes
define
to
as
both.
affordable,
Dude, shut up, dude.
we are
This,
still
he's just pulling numbers out of his ass.
He looks
And
especially
certainly
drunk
the fact that
tonight.
You have greedy landlords.
And like it's 30 degrees
who
outside.
Don't spend a dime on their property.
Him and Walter Bird have been on a month-long bender.
A neighbor of theirs.
That was
Not wrong,
the
though.
most
sleeping on your
delightful
couch?
message.
Their property is now getting
Them too.
$2,500 to $3,000.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Dude, my living room is in a post-bender shambles right now.
So my tenant. Well, you know
Bill's
what?
got
Sorry
wrestlers
about that.
shacking up at his house.
Joe down the street is getting.
Yeah. He woke up literally a half hour ago.
$1,500 for the. Well,
Bill, I think your
guess
mic
what's
might
going
be
up?
rubbing on something.
What can they do? Absolutely nothing. So they have to clearly define affordable versus market rate, which greed pays into that. And
How about now?
Beautiful
on
lock.
the
Oh,
other here,
crystal clear.
Incredible.
Wow.
It was
That's
those
great.
beautiful locks of yours.
Yeah, I washed my hair yesterday for the first time in like 2 weeks.
Actually,
You get a few more seconds.
Isn't that a nice
I'm sorry,
feeling?
but I don't know.
Yes,
if
now it's
actually on
poofy.
the agenda, but the U.S. Attorney's item on the police.
No, it's not on the agenda, so you can't speak on
All
it.
right.
Okay.
All
thank
right.
you.
No one ever talk about that ever again.
What's your name and city of residence? Item number?
Thank you,
Oh,
Mr.
laptop.
Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Andrew Marsh, and I live on
New guy alert.
We got a new guy.
I rise to speak on Order 10B, the proposal regarding designating 195 Mill Street and potentially other areas of the city as UCH TIF zones. Mr. Mayor, I come with the perspective of exercising caution when it comes to TIF agreements. Prior to moving into the city of Worcester, one of the municipalities I resided in was the town of Oxford, Massachusetts. And in 2018, the Board of Selectmen was debating whether or not to approve a TIF contract with a company called IPG Photonics. In the end, it was approved, though as part of that agreement, IPG had to financially contribute to certain traffic alteration costs due in part to how its presence had negatively impacted the lives of residents that lived in close proximity to the company.
I'm not
What I
confident
just
in this
described
guy's
is what I
pacing.
believe is a good example of how TIFs can be beneficial for communities. As
I do not think he's going to finish in the allotted 2 minutes.
the relevant
Joe's gonna
entities have to
drop the
contribute in
hammer
other
on him.
ways to benefit the community. As a resident of the city of Worcester,
I do wish there was like an
I-
arena like
I
siren that went
wish
off.
that if the
A
city
shot
was
clock
resolving
violation.
TIF agreement, that they do their due diligence in
so dead.
analyzing the details of said agreements and
We should
ensure
get a
that
What he's
they're
saying is
getting
valid.
an equitable
It's
return
true,
on our
yeah.
investment.
I
If we do
cannot
not
focus
get
on what he's saying even at all.
the investment put into TIF agreements,
He's
then the
forcing
I'm
on a
googling
TIF
what a
agreement.
TIF agreement is.
gotten
Yeah.
that could have gone to enhancing our to enhancing our public
sounds almost like
transit
a
and other essential
community
services
host
will then
agreement.
trade away for nothing.
It does.
I thank you for allowing me to speak my opinion on this matter. I hope that you'll pay special attention to the details of any potential TIF agreements and ensure
Tax
that
increment
any the
financing.
City of Worcester agrees to are fair and provide
Basically
equitable
subsidies for
return on our
development.
investment.
Yes.
I believe wholeheartedly
Yeah.
in my councilwoman, Atel Hajiai, and in her passion and
TIFs are
commitment
really bad for school
to her
districts.
district and the city by bringing forth this proposal. Moreover, I will trust your collective judgment on this vital issue. Thank you. I yield back the balance of my time.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That was fucking solid. I have no notes. Dorky as he was spot on.
Rehearsed and everything. Yeah. Nailed
My
it.
name is Carrie Cherry, and I live
Oh, she's
in
gonna talk
Worcester,
up
of
into the
course, on
mic.
Baxter Street. I'm
We have
looking-
this
I'd
is
like to
another
talk
new
about
person
10I
alert.
and 10J very
new
quickly.
guy.
New
We're
guy
talking
alert.
about the usual issues that we have with the WRTA every winter, where bus stops are not plowed. People are standing in the middle of Route 122 to get a bus. And my question is to the city council, every business and
I
every
think
homeowner
that
in
order
the
was
city
put on by
is
this is
responsible.
Yeah, that's Atel's order.
and use for
yeah.
business,
This is
right?
for
Um,
urban
I have to
housing.
shovel my walkway.
Yeah, that's it
Um,
for housing
Somebody is
specifically.
yeah,
actually
urban center
opening-
housing.
operating a business
UCHTIF.
at every bus stop, because when we go back to fairs, and we will, which sucks, but we will, they are conducting a bus,
I love this
the
new guy.
bus money transaction there on the street. So why are they not responsible for that being a business and being cleaned instead of having people? I've had 2 people killed in my neighborhood last year in the winter because
Is
they
it
were standing in the
somewhere in
road.
between?
We don't have many
Did
sidewalks
they
up there.
push it all the
So
way
when
through
you don't even
2023?
shovel
They
that little
extended it again.
sidewalk we have for a bus stop.
They extended it. I can't remember till when.
And I
Yeah.
assure you, it's very dark up there, and people race down that hill. The police are always there giving tickets out. And we don't want to see any more of our neighbors get killed.
That's a lie. Worcester cops don't give tickets.
Come to the city and ask you guys to
They do
make
chase
sure the
people a
bus
lot,
stops
though.
are clear.
It's
They just chase
Outside
people.
of the Bus company. We go to the bus company.
yeah,
They tell
June
us-
2023 is
But the
right
bus
now.
company is the only one that's operating a business at each and
They'll
one
extend it
of
again, I'm
those bus
sure.
stops
I just
I hope
wish
so.
they would.
and taking money for that fare.
It's sort of like
So
the
how are they
one of the
keeping it?
few good things Worcester has
Why
done.
were they allowed to
in
get away
recent
with it all
memory.
these years
Yeah.
if every
Yeah.
other
Yeah,
business in the
seriously.
city has to do it?
I'm
I
genuinely
want to thank
surprised
you
it's
for your
lasted this
time,
long.
and hopefully, guys, we can come.
Yeah.
I'm tired of seeing 90-year-old people standing in the middle of the roads.
Is that a cat?
Thank you.
Not
You
only
guys-
do
Yeah, that's my cat.
Hell
we
yeah.
the old people,
Tell your
but
cat I
they
said.
don't treat
Oh my
the
god.
bus stop.
Now he doesn't want to be
They're
there.
not done there either.
Oh, look at
Thank you.
this guy.
Look at that little tiger.
What's your cat's
Uh,
name?
Broxton.
Brockton?
Yeah.
City
Like
of
the town?
Champions.
Yeah, that's where they found him, so that was his
Hell
name.
yeah.
But he was actually known at the shelter as Chainsaw, so I probably should have kept that name. That's pretty badass.
Chainsaw's a
Chainsaw-
good name. for a
Chainsaw
kitty.
Brockton
Yeah.
Casey. I think.
Yeah,
that's-
exactly. Yeah, he's a cat of many names, many aliases and identities over the years. So,
Hell yeah.
I'm
but yeah, he's good.
student in public policy
Love-
and
I
a
love Brockton.
researcher in
One of my
public
favorite
transportation. More
towns
importantly,
in
though,
the whole world.
I'm a resident with a disability who is basically reliant on public transportation for my long distance mobility needs. And living in D5 for several years and working there, I've encountered a lot of times bus stops that have been snowed in and were not shoveled out. And this presents a logistical problem for those who ride the buses because it denies access to enter and exit the WRTA system freely, especially for individuals with
Mo Bergman, no, Sarai Rivera
who
filed
ride
an
over
order
65
about clearing bus
years or
stops.
older.
1 second.
They're not able to access the bus system at all because the snowbanks prove to be a
10I.
huge obstacle or a barrier.
Thanks, Trouble. I didn't
And
notice that.
if
Yeah,
one
the
bus stop
closed caption
is
isn't working for some
snowed
reason.
in, it requires moving a quarter of
Huh.
a mile to the next bus stop and hoping that it's also shoveled out.
Hell yeah.
And in a bus system
That's great.
that runs through areas where the population is a quarter of a more 65 years or older or persons with a disability, this means a huge barrier to a portion of the population in Worcester, especially when the responsibility of a transit system is to provide safety and accessibility for its users. Also, I'd like to note if For other riders, it, as mentioned before, it proves to be a safety hazard where individuals have to stand in the road to catch a bus. And especially in the winter time when the dark comes much earlier, this can prove to be a huge safety hazard, especially when
Happy third night of Hanukkah,
accidents,
Mo.
Increase in certain conditions, especially with the winter time. And so I would like to give back the balance of my time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, everyone's saying it now.
Wow.
I mean, but these are solid comments. They go on for long and they're a little dry, but
No, they're great. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard agree.
Lifelong city resident, also District 5. I'm
This
here
guy
in my
sounds like a radio
capacity
producer.
as Executive Director and CEO of the Worcester Regional Research Bureau. And I'm here in regards to items 11A and 11B, which are
really good, really good report from them on redlining and the historical legacy.
Oh, right.
Of it.
Yes.
Public schools, evolution.
We talked a little bit about it last week during the 15-minute meeting.
Rising costs,
we had
renting
plenty
in
of
the heart
time
of
to
the
talk
Commonwealth.
afterwards.
I'm here to, number one, thank the council for admitting both items to committee. I'm here, number two, to remark that the Bureau performs objective data-based research on some of the most complex issues facing the city. These two reports address very important issues, including looking at federal data on renting and the cost
do you know this dude?
from 2010 to 2020.
Yeah, I talked to him one time.
Cities, as well as providing the red line.
He's all right, I guess. I don't know.
1936.
No notes.
Across the country.
Yeah, it's Paul Matthews.
Discriminate on race and ethnicity on lending. So we received that map as an image. We were able to convert it to a digital map. And likewise, with the school committee side, our report illustrates the change coming with the 6 districts and 2 at-large seats.
Still 5 city council districts. It's the most annoying thing in the world.
Most importantly, for the people at home watching,
so fucking
go
stupid.
Online. We have
Ben
online
knows somebody weird.
visualizations on both topics, so you can look firsthand.
Yeah, let's not get carried away with objective here.
On renting and the cost burden in the city.
Perhaps the organization that just gave Edward M. Augustus a Lifetime Service Award should not lean too hard into objectivity.
Yeah.
Like in the same week that they showed that he has done nothing to stop the pattern of redlining and has in fact increased it tremendously over his tenure.
Sure you don't mean objectionable when you say that?
Yeah.
Okay. See nobody else be online? I'm sorry. I didn't see you there.
Hi, my name's Jen Falcon. I'm here to talk about 10I and J. I've been told that the reason there's not enough buses is because there's not enough ridership. It's kind of a vicious circle, but there are things we can do to get more people riding. One of those things is take care of the signs. The signs are already far apart, and when they're missing, it makes it even
Vicious
worse.
Circle would be a great name for like an idiot caveman punk band.
But sometimes you get someone who's subbing or new that might not know, and if it's missing, they might not stop. But also, if you're out of your neighborhood and you want to go somewhere different, then you might not know. It hurts local businesses because it means we don't want to try going somewhere new. This is weird, but there's people that
Wikipedia says they were an Australian hardcore punk band from 1983. That name is too good to not be used.
Thanks, Mo. I'm really happy with what Chris came up with, and it was great working with him on that.
Some of the bus stops.
He was like, I'm not a very good writer, so I don't know. And I was like, well, just write it the way you want to, and then I'll help you if it's like crappy. And like I fixed almost nothing. He just came up with a fucking awesome story.
It might be not quite at the corner or which side of the street it's on.
Yeah, Bill,
You can look at the Google Maps and
been
it's
fucking killing it
usually
lately,
right,
man.
but not always. They
And,
really need to be in
you're
sync.
editing extremely well. Your
And
guest
so you
posts are
getting people
unbelievable.
I'd really like to do more guest posts, like Maine South Mom's guest post.
Yeah.
Because I'd like it to be more of a platform. I don't want to be the only guy.
And if you just stand there for no reason, then you know.
And I pay.
I've been told by one of the drivers that there used to be meetings where the drivers.
Yeah, Bill's a little pay
bring
pig,
out
everybody.
missing
Come
signs and they
talk
don't
to
have
him.
those
Yeah,
anymore.
I'm pay pig granddad.
But I do know the signs are already too far apart in a lot of places. They're missing, they're stolen, they're broken. One of them
There he
was
is.
replaced by
Look at
a
that.
parking sign.
I'm like the Santana of the tambourine.
Business
I'm an elite
daddy.
tambourine player.
city and the WRTA when they fix it and then they don't put the sign back.
She's gone
So
way over 2
those are
minutes.
some things I wanted
to
to
say.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, Joe Petty's just trying to hit.
I have no-
Colin Novick, 135
Hey.
Main Street. I'm also here wearing my hat as Executive Director of the Greater Worcester Land Trust and speaking to.
You're not wearing a hat.
Not a city council fit.
Pants
Lying
on
about hats.
fire.
Yeah,
Councilor
not allowed.
5 for bringing this to the city's attention. There are a number of critical benefits, public benefits that can be met by this property.
You shut your whore mouth. Colin Novick doesn't need anything that he doesn't have already.
Critical need in the city of Worcester, but there are other public goods which can be met from the preservation of this particular site.
Reminds me
and the
so much of
involvement
Paul
the city
Feig.
in directing it. The property.
I don't know
Yeah,
who's that.
He's the guy that
to
directed Bridesmaids
reconnect
and
the
he was,
beach with the tavern.
he's
Presently,
in
it is a
Heavyweights.
large
He's
paved
one of the camp
wasteland.
counselors
We
in
could
Heavyweights.
realign Mill Street if we're able to
Oh.
preserve this property. This
We'll
does a couple things.
We'll
First
throw a
of
link
all, it
up
makes
to
it
Paul
pedestrian
Feig.
access between the two. And since the tavern
Yes,
is
holy matrimony to Tracy. They're the ultimate Worcester power couple.
phantom bikeway, which is supposed to exist on Mill Street. This would allow us to actually create a dedicated.
Oh, now I know who he is.
Thirdly, it would allow us to do water quality improvements. Right now, there is almost no buffer between the sidewalk,
Yeah,
the
Freaks and
street,
Geeks,
the
yeah.
body of water that we rely on for public recreation.
And he
and for
sounds
the
like him
beach.
too.
We can improve the water quality and have it open more days if we actually create a natural buffer.
I did a story with him on koi wolves when I worked at Worcester Magazine, and it was the funnest interview I've ever had in my life. You want to see somebody's eyes light up like a little kid? Talk to Colin Novick about koi wolves. They're crossbred coyotes and wolves.
Yeah, dude.
Big as a dog, solitary creatures, but they look like coyotes.
I hope that it's receives attention both.
And
from
That's
the
what was in
mayor's
Brendan's
office, the
backyard,
planning
right?
office, and
Yeah, right, yeah.
picture, because not only is there a great public
So
benefit
Brendan's
from
actually that's why he's
the
not here right
ability
now.
to
He's
public
fighting a
housing,
koi
but there is
wolf.
also a great benefit
Wrestling
for us
it,
to have
actually.
open space. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Brendan Melican's wrestling little kids. You heard it here first.
I hope he wins and they give him that trophy finally.
Chairman, my name is Greg Degamasian.
Oh, this is a former new guy. The saddest. What do we decide is the saddest cop that ever lived?
What is the? That's a really good question. I had to write so many stupid fucking stories. Walter Bird just assigning me to write the most terrible dog shit. What's the stupidest story?
Blowing through the office in the middle of a bender with Fred Nathan, assigning you stories. Bill, I gotta go get a bobblehead.
I think this is one of the more
Here, I'll text you a picture.
agenda items this evening.
Walter made us do a profile of every surrounding town of Worcester and a transparent ad revenue grab for businesses in those towns. And it was like, what's the town's high school mascot? When was it incorporated? And he made me go out and just interview random people. Like I had to go to Webster and just be like, how do you feel about Webster? Just like people on the street. And I was like, I want to quit so bad. I hate journalism.
You
It's
film
just
this?
going nowhere.
This sounds like great Instagram content.
No way. Me and Josh Leifert almost physically fought him over that series. He wanted to do like 10 towns.
I've heard you guys got into screaming fits at times.
Yeah. Yeah. A shoe was thrown at one point, like lobbed like a grenade into a cubicle. Not gonna say who threw the shoe or at who, but the shoe was thrown. A la George Bush.
Oh, that was the anniversary of that the other day.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That guy rules. He's
Yeah.
a great follow on Twitter. Every single person that mentions them, he's like says thank you, I love you, and he's very satisfied with himself, which he should be.
He's still using Twitter like it's 2007.
Yeah,
He's like, just went for a walk. It was very nice.
Threw a shoe.
I'm here about a number of things, but first of all, I'd like to say that 195 Mill Street has been a mess for as long as I can remember.
This guy's really cool. His name's Adam Thielker, big time transportation activist in the city.
Moving on that property, it's been a real drag on the entire.
Very involved in the fare free thing.
And 195 Mill Street needs to happen. Something needs to happen there.
Yeah, like Brendan always says, municipal water park.
Water park, baby.
We have a golf course. Why not?
It's
true.
Both get back to the same problem, which is that there is a
Yeah, Adam Tilker looks like Santa if Santa played jazz.
and the city council and the city manager's office. Everything falls through the cracks. So one group blames the other one continually.
I don't know why that got me so hard, but it did.
But the fact of the matter is that the city, for the most part,
There were two Santas
owns the
sitting next to each other at the
streets and
movies today. It
curbs
made me
that
very
the bus
happy.
system operates on.
That's sick.
And should be taking a much greater
Hey, you know what movies suck fucking hot dog shit? The Christmas movie with the guy from Stranger Things.
Oh, Violent Night.
Violent Night, so bad, dude.
How many times have they tried to do like horror movie / Christmas movie at this point?
It's true.
Yeah, like every year they give it a shot. This one was particularly bad.
Do you know what movie holds up? Scrooged. I watched that shit last night.
I haven't seen that. I've never
it's
seen
solid. It's
Oh,
Bill
wow.
Murray,
Hoping
man.
that things can get
It's
done.
primo
You're
Bill
hearing
Murray.
from me again about this, and thank you very much.
It was very epic bacon. Very epic bacon. That's a good way to put it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do
There's
have
that new Christmas Carol movie that Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds that was filmed in Worcester.
Yeah,
came out
very
recently. Yeah, has anybody actually seen it?
No.
Oh,
My
that's a good
friends
question.
worked on it.
Oh, okay, cool.
They don't.
I should
fucked
repost
up
the.
Mechanics Hall really bad.
This is Ed McKeon.
Really?
Yeah.
I am a
They
resident
use
of
tap
Worcester,
shoes on the floors.
District
They-
5,
they-
actually.
They got it cleared. They
speaking,
you know
in
they're allowed to
support
do
of
it. Nobody knew that
10B,
it was good.
as presented by
Oh,
the
boy.
council
Fuck up
from
the
that
floor.
district. As with the other speakers, I think it's important that the city pay close attention to.
Do you guys remember like
This is a really
2 years
important
ago?
question we should talk about.
impacts
Yeah, that's a good
positively
question.
Not only the developer, but the residents.
Obviously,
of the city.
Candy. You know,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
she's actually my city councilor. It'll be the first time I've ever had a conversation with her, so that would be good. Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be I would definitely pick the ones that would not smoke usually, because I would want to see their reaction. You know.
Yeah, I want
Hi,
to
my
get.
name is
I
Kathy
think
Trimble,
George
and
Russell
I live in Worcester across
would be.
Mine would be just be Kate Toomey, and I'd smoke her up till she got so high, and then I'd just be like, "Do you ever get nervous?
and I
Are you ever nervous? Do you ever feel bad? Do you ever feel bad about yourself?"
Get her so high that she fears the police.
for the entire community.
Did you leave the stove on? I think you might have.
Yeah.
It seems like the space as it exists now is just asking for whatever trouble to happen late at night or
Wow.
at odd hours.
Eyes Wide Shut is the best Christmas
And I
movie
love
is
the
kind of
idea
a
being
very
able to
correct
provide
take.
more affordable housing to
That's
make
awesome.
community, especially with a school right down the street and the pond right across from that area. I think it would
Never
really be
move her.
tremendous to have some more affordable housing options that present really quality community.
Unless the question is first up against the wall.
And this would
Oh, easy peas.
that's the area in addition to just
Uh,
beautifying the area.
Sean Rose has been texting me to have a session.
Revolution.
And Webster Square is also,
Sean Rose
I
has
think,
been texting me to
will
have
get
a
nice
session. I feel like he's going to be fun to
sometimes
smoke
it
with.
takes,
Oh,
you
he's
know,
gonna be
one
great on
big
this
change
show
to
once
kind of
he's
be
done.
interchangeable.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah,
so
sure.
sick.
He was great on the
for
show
the community.
before he
And I
even
think
announced.
this could really do that. So I'd love to see the kind of positive change that Ataha suggested. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's so crazy that that place is still
Mayor, the
like
next speaker is Susan Swanson. We're trying to meet the resident now.
it's insane. Everyone I know learned to drive in that parking lot
Hi,
because
and
it's
I'm
been
Susan
for that long.
Swanson.
I drive
too
by it and
am
just stare and
a
imagine
resident
all the
of Worcester.
potential.
Travis's
Fantasy Factory would be right there.
District 5.
Wow.
And I also want to
Yeah, and
let
like a
my
large
party
bodyguard that
support
becomes my
for
best
agenda
friend.
item 10B,
I
with
want it
regard
all.
to designating
Some weird car
195
that doesn't have a
Street
roof.
as an urban center housing
It's gonna be
tax.
great.
As you know, we are, as a neighborhood, very
See?
committed to
Molly
that
gets it.
area and have worked diligently with the city to create not only,
There
you
need
know, a park
so
and
the you
playground,
guys
but
know
that
in
both
Lincoln Plaza
park,
the
that
Five
park
and
and
Diner,
playground is
Yeah.
they're
universally
tearing that
accessible.
down to build a Popeyes, which is
And I would
awesome.
like to suggest
But
that,
that should be a Sonic. That should
recognizing
be Sonic.
that,
Worcester needs a
Yeah,
Sonic.
that'd be a great Sonic.
To the
the
point
in
where
and of
like
itself
Jess, my
is a
girlfriend Jess has been
crisis,
saying this
to
for
add that it
like 2 years.
disproportionately
Just been
impacts
harping on
persons
this.
with disabilities.
We looked it up. We
and
looked into
that
opening a
the affordable
franchise.
housing is
It's
just
you need
simply
$3
not
million up front.
$4 million
Yeah.
for a Sonic
Three.
franchise?
checks that
Still.
for
Three.
people
Yeah.
with
There's
disabilities.
one. What's the cheapest? I remember being like, oh, okay. There was one
Subway.
that caught my eye. Was it Subway?
Subway is
Still?
like
I think
60 grand or something like that.
Yeah.
They're the most popular restaurant chain around the world. John
Mhm.
Oliver did a great piece on them. But back before we get too far away from the diner, I'm a little bummed that that's coming down. Like, yeah, whatever. Nobody really ate there. I fucking love the architecture of that building. I love that style, and I love diners.
really cool.
But nobody eats at diners anymore.
Well, you no matter what would go in there, they'd have to tear it down. If you leave a building like that empty for 2 years, it's done. You're done.
Yeah, no, you're
it's
right.
been longer than
It's
that
been
too. I
closed
think.
for
Yeah.
It's been 12 years.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that fitness center was closed forever too. So that whole little part of Lincoln Plaza is just sad. So at least something's happening. At least I don't have to drive across town to get a Popeyes sandwich anymore.
Anybody opposed?
Oh, hey, speaking of fried chicken, Pollo Centro in Webster Square has the best fried chicken I've ever had in the city of Worcester. That place is awesome. It's where the Donkeys used to be, right on the
I know
corner of Mill Street.
exactly where that is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not far from me.
No, you should check it out. It's seriously
Challenge
good.
accepted.
Yeah. And it comes with rice and beans.
We need
And the rice
a
and
movie
beans is
theater in
amazing.
Worcester.
Hearing for January 10th.
We need a movie theater
We do.
in Worcester.
Location.
Very bad.
Yeah, I can talk about social consumption sites at some point too, because that's another thing that might come up at some point in Worcester.
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing, like the biggest money grab to be had.
The Big D parking lot is a social consumption site.
Yeah.
I mean, with this vape pen, fucking every Target, every I don't know, every
Yeah.
bathroom that I walk into is a public consumption site.
Right, yeah. Every cannabis event I go to doesn't have smoking. You walk into the bathroom, there's like a distinct odor of vape pen in there. But it's funny at the DCU Center for the Harvest Cup, they have like a designated smoking area, even though like technically I guess they shouldn't, but like they try to corral everybody into one spot. And it's literally empty, and everywhere outside of the designated area is where everybody's smoking. So it's like the one spot that they designated is like empty.
Delves a little bit more into how interesting this could be for our constituents. So I'm simply looking for a way to either get a report or measure the feasibility of us going into a model where we don't have to charge fees, or perhaps there's an in-house model we could follow. So just looking for some more clarity around that. Thank you.
Send that to the manager. All those favor, opposed, so ordered.
All right.
Request city manager work with the chief development officer to submit proper documentation, designate 195
Feels like we're
Mill
moving
Street,
quick
commonly known
tonight.
as the Big D.
Oh, yeah. This is a pretty light agenda.
Action agreement
They got
financing
their,
zone for request city manager, request
they
chief
got the
development
taste
officer
last
to
week.
provide
They like
counsel
the way
to
it felt.
This
Yeah,
is
right.
District 5 suitable
Petty
designate
just said the Big D,
UCH
by the way.
check zone. Council happy with that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate. I just want to start by
I'll be right back,
appreciating
guys. I
all
gotta
that called in
do a
today,
number
whether they're
2.
in District 5 or not. So I just wanted to start by recognizing and pulling in
what
the
a wild
voices
thing to
and
do.
concerns of the Mill Street residents who have been really frustrated that the former Big D on Mill Street has both been a neighborhood blight for a long time, as well as a magnet
It
for
was
illegal dumping and
the Funnel Lounge is
pushover
cool.
before it closed. Yeah.
we know that the status quo clearly hasn't changed anything. For the last 20 years, 195 Mill Street has been a source of extreme frustration for neighbors, a topic of conversation in all neighborhood meetings, a source of illegal dumping, police calls, unsafe activities. I took a look at what are some of those calls that have been generated since 2019. And I'm not surprised, but I just want to mention a few stats. For example, from 2019, there's been 43 calls. These are code, quality of life calls, police fire. In 2020, 28 calls, 2021, 42 calls, in 2022, 41 calls. So this basically an average of
Definitely.
40
My little
calls that
brothers, you kidding me?
this property has generated in the past 3 years. So that's 40 calls to manage and respond to this
We used to do
property's
donuts in my mom's
negligent,
minivan.
40 calls that have been diverted our precious resources,
Sorry,
taxpayers'
what were you
resources away from important things. I don't know if anyone in this room has
There was
recently
some
walked
theater
around this
downtown
building
that was like, wasn't it
or
like
seen
untouched
pictures.
for like 80
I
years,
have.
and then they
I have
recently were
walked around
trying
the
to
building,
The Olympia.
black box
concrete
of the
pole
Olympia.
down,
Okay.
kind of trash,
Yeah.
unsanitary items dumped
Yeah,
behind the
I
Unclear
haven't heard
what's
any updates on
happening.
that. Yeah.
Unclear.
oil
It
being
was
dumped there.
purchased
It's just simply
again
not okay.
in last
I hope
fall.
and pray that our fire department does
And
not
they've
have another fire on their hands.
recently made some announcements that they're going to be
This
doing stuff
neighborhood has
there
been waiting
soon.
for
But
20 years, held hostage to the whims
Hi,
of
Yenni.
someone who does not have a vested interest in the quality of
Hello.
life or economic prosperity.
I realized I muted myself right before starting talking.
This order reflects both my frustration with the inaction of the last 20 years.
What
and
have I
as well
missed?
as my hope that as a council,
not
we
not a
unanimously
ton.
send a message to the residents of Mill Street.
There was a
that
few
this is
speakers
priority for
on
us and for our city.
Yenni's.
The quality of life, safety, and
Attell's sorry,
prosperity of
Yenni,
the Mill Street
Attell's order
neighborhood matters. The Mill
about
Street residents have been
Mill Street,
asking for
195 Mill
years
Street, the
that
old
we
Big
look
D,
at all the ways we
which
can
they've
incentivize
just
development in this
broken down
area.
to calling it Big D.
Residential housing, something I've heard that you heard on all the calls today.
But it seems like they're
Commercial,
passing without
activity, a
objection.
redesign of the Mill Street corridor to complement.
And then you were
millions of
talking
dollars
about
in
the
investment
Olympia
in Vienna
Theater,
Beach,
the one that's
University accessible
on
Coast
Pleasant.
Park, the beautiful
Yeah,
boardwalk, and
somebody asked about.
If we
We
can
were talking.
generate
We were
an
talking about the
inclusive
lack
economic
of movie
development
theater
for
in the city.
downtown, we can certainly do the
That
same for this
was a
important corridor in the
Lowe's
district. The wait and see, wait
at
and
one
hope
point.
approach we've been
It
taking
was
for
an
the last
orchestra
20 years
theater.
clearly hasn't
Yes.
worked.
It was like for
Incremental development can transform this
opera.
property
I
and
mean,
the
I
areas
mean
around
Lowe's
it
like
into something
pre-movie
residents
theater,
of Mill
like
Street can be
live
proud of,
event, like the
one that
Palladium
can make this
was.
corridor an attractive place for
EM
families
Lowe's.
to build lives and build community. We
It
have
was a
taken
regular
the
movie theater at
safest
one point
and
too.
best
Yeah,
resources
eventually,
and
yeah.
efforts elsewhere
And
in the
then
city. Ballpark,
yeah, it was like
the Southwest Industrial Park, other mixed-use
mothballed.
projects. Lowell, Framingham,
It was a
Dudley are
church.
cities that are already using this
Yeah.
program to revitalize the
I hope
neighborhood.
I
something's
got to
coming
go
up.
With
in.
strong emphasis on housing affordability.
I got to
They
go in
did
a
a lot of
couple
work.
years ago,
Let's do that here too.
and
By
it
starting the
still
process
looks
of
gorgeous.
designating
Like
194
it's
Mill
still
Street
really
as
open. A lot of the
urban
seats
center
are still
housing
there, or they
tip
were.
district.
But there's
Both
there's
creates
another
an
team that
incentive
took
for
it
new
over,
developments,
and
and it gives the
they've
city a
decorated the
role
outdoor
in
or the outside
shaping
door
this
twice, 2
parcel's
years in a row.
development. It sends a unified
That's about as
message.
much as
This
we
is a
know.
priority,
I'm
and it
interested
aligns
because
with the
that
city
is
manager's
something
vision
that
to strengthen our
even
neighborhoods.
before we
That's
lost
a
our
vision
last
that I
movie
share as
theater,
well.
it's something I've always wanted
And
to
this
do
is
is
how we do
have
that. The urban center
a
housing tax
like
increment
Coolidge
financing
Corner
for
type
those
of
of us that have
place
asked
in the
me.
city,
It's a
or
statutory program
really like
authorizing
honestly
cities and
like
towns to promote housing and commercial
the New
development.
Beverly in
This
LA.
commercial,
There's a
these
few theater. The
developments must be
Arrow Theater in LA is like that too, where
primarily
they
residential
show
and in a commercial
fun
area
things,
with a
fun
demonstrated
movies,
need
not
for
necessarily art house,
reinvestment.
not necessarily
That is what the
like
residents of
current
Mill
run
Street have
movies,
been
just
asking.
whatever's fun to
The
show.
need for reinvestment. It
I think
provides
there's
real
an angle
estate
there.
exemptions on all parts of the increased value.
There
At
was
least
at one point
25% of
the
new
Bijou.
housing built using this financing
Oh
must
no,
be
at the memorial, back there,
40
there
years.
was
And
a theater
affordability,
there. There's
can
some
be determined
when they
based on the
initially
parameters of the program.
purchased
It can be
this
combined
recent
with
purchase
local,
of the
state,
odd that
federal
went through.
grants and loans to
There was
spur
talk about turning
bigger
that back, the little
infrastructure
theater,
improvements
into
that
an
this neighborhood
IMAX
certainly can
house.
benefit
But
from.
I've been
So what I'm
there.
asking my
There's
colleagues tonight
no
is to empower the
there's
economic
no
development
firewall.
office
There's
to have a
no
conversation
wall
with the Department
between
of
the
Community and
stage on
Housing
either side.
Development, the
So
state
you
agency
can't have
that administers
shows
this
going on
program.
either side.
It
So I
empowers
don't know
Mr.
how it
Dunn
could
and the
work as
city
a movie
manager to
theater.
prepare a plan, a plan that outlines
Hey, Yenni.
why
shaped
this
too.
area is
Hello.
blighted, why it needs investment, and articulates to a state agency that we
Yeah, I
have
think
a good relationship with
the
need
plan
for
was
this
to bring it
neighborhood.
back as a
And
live
when
theater
there is a developer interested,
originally, and then it
city
got sold
council
again.
and neighbors will
So
have an
I don't know
opportunity to
what the
provide
current
input
folks.
and review any potential
I'd love to find out
agreements.
because
In other words, the city council
it's
and the city manager's office
the Olympia is
and the
a
neighbors will have
interesting
an opportunity
size.
to provide input and review any
You
potential
could
agreements.
do
We have local
some really
control
great stuff there. You could
before
Oh,
any
hell
movie
yeah.
theater if you wanted to with
for
with
final
a few tweaks.
What I'm asking my
But
colleagues tonight
you
is
could
to
do live
support the
music
Mill
there. You
Street
could do.
residents
I mean, it would be a great
unanimously
comedy
approve this
theater.
order.
Honestly, it would be an
Thank you.
incredible stand-up
Thank
theater.
you.
And whoever
Council
agrees
Boyle,
with that.
followed by Council King.
Thank you. I just have a couple questions.
I'm
on
chuckling
the
at
research.
Matthew's
I
comment.
have to say I'm not as familiar with.
I would
today's
love that
budget.
so much.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, just
like,
everyone come to my house.
You did in October at my house in the backyard. I have a projector and one of those big blow up screens, and we showed movies every Saturday night, and it's so fun. And I would love to watch terrible, awesome movies. Well, I'd just love to do
Watch
whatever
yourself.
people want to do. I didn't
Do
say I
not
said terrible.
call.
I said terrible. I said awesome.
Okay.
We do both.
What is the terrible awesome before us saying about Attell's proposal?
Here about it being an eyesore. I mean, it's
We'll say that again.
just really.
The terrible lady
Talking about-
before us.
There's a lot of safety issues with this
Oh
project.
my
so
God.
I'm just worried about the legal aspect of it.
Look
She's
at
saying
her.
something about the
What's
affordable
that,
housing
the
stuff, I think.
UCH TIF zone, does that
Oh, the
restrict
TIF.
the
Yeah.
owner of the property to sell it any way he or she wants to, or just kind of give me a little?
Yeah, a news article from 2021 says the
Through
family
chair to the
plans to open it
counselor,
up for musical
this kind of a
performances.
designation does not change the zoning. It doesn't require the developer to sell the property in a certain way or develop the property in a certain way. What it does is it creates an eligible area that if some buyer,
Hell yeah.
perhaps
Speaking of bad movies, I've always wanted to have a viewing party for An Honest Thief. Has anybody seen that Liam Neeson movie that was filmed in Worcester?
I haven't seen it. No.
It's so great. It's so bad. It's in that so bad it's good category, and it's just chef's kiss. It's like an amazing film.
We could get a Q&A going with some of the crew for that.
Really, you know people that did worked on that too?
Yeah.
Oh
Tom
my
Mahoney
God.
from the Hot Dog Safari was one of the location manager, assistant location manager on that.
Oh, okay, that's funny. I worked as a background extra in a movie that was filmed this summer, and I saw somebody with a Hot Dog Safari shirt on, so that might have been him. So
Very,
that's funny.
very big. It's become very big in the production world.
People that know.
Yeah.
Half our union is represented at the Safari every year now.
How was their event, Brian?
You guys, every once in a while, something really comes together in a way that you couldn't have possibly dreamed could become true. Tom and Ryan McCardle's holiday party at Ralph's the other night was
Through the chair to the
one of the best
counselor, I
Worcester
think
nights of all
it's a
time.
reasonable,
I'm so bummed I missed it.
conjecture
I
that
I feel bad for everybody that missed it. It was like we had Mama Roo doing food there. John did
to your point,
venison chili
mention,
hot
we've
dogs,
recognized as well the
and
opportunity that
gumbo
this
with
parcel,
little smokies in
presents,
it instead
for the
of
city and the
andouille
community
sausage.
in terms
Nice.
of redevelopment
Just
potential.
knocked it out of
It
the
has
park like
been
always.
listed formally with a local brokerage firm.
We had Santa Claus
There
there
has
who
been
turned out
a
to
lot of
be a
interest in the
deathmatch
property. I think
wrestler,
a lot
Casanova
of,
Valentine.
different developers, I'd say the
And
majority
he
have been
had
residential in
got
nature,
into a fight with
would be
Channing
interested in
Thomas
trying to
from
tackle that
Beyond
property, but
Wrestling, and
obviously none of that
nobody
interest
knew it was
has,
going to happen.
resulted in
And it was the craziest thing anyone, most fun night, one of the most fun nights I've ever had. Archie Bellows came up as Elvis and sang a bunch of songs. It
I
was
saw a video of
an
that.
amazing night.
For the
It was not
yeah,
a shoot,
that
Gio. It was they
questions
were working,
about
but it was
the
a
UCH
shock too many in the room.
and the related
that wrestler that came out has been staying on my couch for the past 2 nights. He had so much fun. He had to continue partying in Worcester last night apparently. And he woke up at 5:30 p.m. Like I was wondering where I was going to do this stream. So they definitely had another fun night last night.
He ruled. He's such a sweetheart. He was amazing.
Yeah.
He was an amazing Santa. He pretended to be a booked Santa the whole night and just like took pictures with people and was like
there were conversations
so
intermittent
it was
and
so
ongoing
fun. What a night.
between the city and the
I
property
posted one of
owner.
the videos on the
that
Woot Nanny
perhaps we
page
were waiting
on our
reports
Instagram.
back and
Just check it out.
updates
But I'm editing together because so many people took videos of it. I'm going to edit together the whole match.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's sick.
I'm trying to do that tomorrow.
Bill, you didn't want to physically tell the wrestler to get out of your couch and move. You have a stream to do.
No, he was very big, and he looked so comfy. So I thought it best to not disturb.
Through the chair to the counselor. I
Yeah,
haven't
Neil,
been
we've
in
tried. They're not
contact
working
with the
tonight.
owner recently. I have been in contact with the broker.
Yeah, there's a extremely dirty Santa hat on the top of my
Here,
trash.
I'll
right
reset
now.
and try again.
Is that there are lots of multifamily developers out there that have
Sorry, I was asking about captions.
It's been driving us crazy the whole night. They're just not working for some reason. On Facebook,
Yeah.
it looks like.
Oh well.
Thanks,
I mean,
Facebook.
Yeah, thanks Facebook. What are you gonna do?
I'm not sure about that. It's Casanova
Price
Valentine.
has changed several
He's
times.
like
look at
pretty
that.
well known.
There you go.
When we were in a little bit more frequent communications with the owner directly, it was when he was
look how
exploring
behind
a multifamily development.
Yeah, it's weird. It's 2 words at a time. Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah,
Travis,
it's
can you
not
try
good.
making them? Can you try making them smaller? Maybe like
sure.
a setting or something will like unjam. And I see they went away again.
Probably not moving forward with plans of his own at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to suggest, by way of a motion, that the city re-engage with the property owner. I know from our conversations.
Yeah,
here in the
broke
past,
it.
there's challenges.
It's off tonight, unfortunately.
Eh.
They're racing Twitter to see who can make their platform worse.
I mean,
on purpose.
Facebook.
I'm just
they
waiting
fired-
for things to tank enough that Bezos goes, I could own Twitter, and just loops that into the Amazon family.
Just make it all the more terrible.
Yeah, and it'll work about as good
No,
as a
he's
Fire
not.
Stick.
He's
No,
not
they
actually
the angle they came up with was that only Twitter Blue subscribers should have been able to vote, so it wasn't fair. Because they have skin in the game.
Right.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea because now a bunch of people are going to buy this blue check to tell Elon Musk to leave, but then the profit share is going to go up.
Interaction, engagement might help.
I had a chance to ride in the Elon Musk tunnel in Vegas a few weeks ago, and I declined. I did not do it. I just walked. I was literally going, like, it's funny because I was at the convention center, and it's a very useless tunnel. It goes from one side of the convention center to the other. But I happened to be doing that, and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to walk. I don't think it's worth the content. I don't think dying in a tunnel fire is worth the Instagram views. So.
But you say submit the proper documentation to do it. But the
Yeah, unless you're a fan of getting caught on fire or getting beheaded, stay away from an Elon Musk transportation project.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Getting beheaded is one of my favorite things to do on a Saturday night.
Have also asked me. I really have no problem with submitting information.
You sick fuck.
Submitting of the private people.
I'm so
really,
confused.
All it does, it empowers our Mr. John in the
I
city manager's office to
lost focus for a moment because I was eating my burrito and I came back. I'm confused now.
But the two things can move in parallel with each other.
It's enough for them to have a conversation, bring that conversation back to us in this report.
Well, and it gives Mr. Dunn an opportunity to outline why we think this area needs this. And it's good to have that on paper, not just for our purposes, but for planning purposes in the future. Thank you.
So, to catch you up, Etel put on a smart order. Donna Colorio asked a stupid question in Peter Dunn gave.
I lost on what Travis was saying.
Okay.
Not what was happening in the meeting.
Is that property assessed at?
Kate Toomey's question is going to be great.
It's water.
She's wearing a mask.
Is the value assessed at a higher value because it has a waterfront view? Dude. Shut up. What a stupid question.
Have I talked about how Joe Early, like, to my face, talked so much shit about Kate Toomey, knowing who I was and what show I do, like, basically called her a fucking moron.
That's so
incredible.
She works for. Oh wait, no, never mind. That's the show.
No, but connected, like,
yeah, similar, same field. Yeah.
She like, works for the sheriff's department at the, like, but her program that she does has like some crossover with his, with him.
Even with the tip,
And
which I think is
it was so funny because he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't know who I am besides the fact that I do a show where we talk shit about city council, and all he knows about is that Kate Toomey pays attention to it and hates it, and he was just like, "Oh,
and that's
yeah,
enough.
she fucking sucks. She's a moron. She gets fired from all her jobs."
Yeah, except for city council where she gets the most votes every year.
I have a theory that she has a grandkid that she's not allowed to see unless she wears a mask for the entire week, and we have one of her offspring to thank for just putting a thorn in her side, because this upsets her.
Two things are funny about this. That mask isn't going to do anything. 2, she's not wearing her own masks that she sells.
Report back from Council Toomey. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Council Bergman.
That is such a good
Chairman.
point, though, Trav.
First of all, I
That
want
is-
to acknowledge that I think it's creative thinking. So I compliment Councilor Huxley for that, and something that I want the administration to look at, and I
Sick.
certainly report that if the administration comes back and recommend.
He mispronounced her name, right?
I think thinking out of the box and being creative.
Yeah, a little bit.
He
Yeah.
emphasized the X.
Appropriate. I do think,
Yeah.
but I tend
Okay.
to look more at what do I think is going to get us the result we need
True.
to get to. Like many of my colleagues, we know from previous District 5 Council Rosen.
I also have no real evidence to back up my theory. It's just my little
I don't know that she has grandkids, but it is a great
headcanon is what the kids are calling it.
From real estate brokers.
Yeah, that is. It's so funny when you just like
question
someone's like,
whether the
"Oh, okay."
developer is the problem.
All right, there you go.
TIF itself will certainly attract more developers, but at the end of the day, the owner
Saints,
has to be
nothing
willing
too crazy is happening. They're
sell
talking about 195 Mill
traditionally
Street right
give
now,
tips unless
and this
somebody
has gone from a very simple thing
this is a little unique 'cause we're
to
actually
a longer conversation because the stupid councilors are asking stupid questions.
And the administration
Yeah.
think that that's a good idea, then I'll certainly go along with it and be supportive of it. The other thing I want to make sure, and I think it's helpful to send this to the administration, is that when we get the information back,
Slam.
this doesn't be perceived as rewarding the owner. This property
Let the boys be boys.
valuable with the TIF. It's going to become more valuable, and the owner heretofore has not been willing to sell.
You know,
it
people
full
talk
price.
about
From what we
that's
hear,
Onyx's
so
biggest
now the
song,
price is
Slam.
worth more.
But Slam
Is the
Harder,
price
the
gonna go
sequel,
up? Is he
is
gonna be willing
a
to
much better
sell
song,
it
in my opinion.
for what he originally has it for now, or is he going to be
It's
asking?
it
for
uses
more?
I
the
never
look-
knew there was a
Oh,
sequel.
dude,
The
check
other
it out.
developers out
I mean,
there
Mo's
sitting
making a
on their
good point there about the
and kind of
TIF
taking their time.
benefit
Yeah.
of this
Really
board,
helping
but
the neighborhoods out.
Yeah, it is a good
They
point that it's on the owner,
waited out long enough to see
but
the-
he's
also
been a jackass for years not wanting to
Yeah.
sell. Maybe he'll finally sell
So,
because of this.
I want to
That's
hear all
all
those
that's
answers.
being
I'm
hoped
supportive of it. I
for.
think
But
what's
I
the
also-
practical
many of
solution
my
he's
colleagues
proposing?
live there, work
You
there,
know?
have
He's
Yeah,
not.
that's
He's
the
just
thing.
calling
That's
it a
always the
problem.
good thing,
long time,
especially when
Council
Mo
Rosen
makes good
spoke
points.
about it over
It's
and over
never
again.
coupled with
It's certainly an innovative,
helpful
unique approach,
like
and certainly something we should
proposal.
consider. But I also, based on the
Land value
questions I
tax would
have
be
and the
fantastic.
perception
No,
that might
the owner's not there.
be out there that this is a reward.
Can you
The
imagine
owner
the
doesn't
city
come to any. The
council?
owner refuses to even talk
I'd
to the
like to
city
get
half
some
the
of those
time.
answers back before we move
There's
forward on this.
a
At the end of the day,
in
I
Randolph.
Oh wait, is he gonna hold it?
take that it does make a difference.
He just said he wants
Whether
answers
we're
back
dealing
before
with
he
somebody that
moves
I
forward.
respect property rights. Nobody has to sell anything legally unless there's a reason to. But the neighborhood has really suffered. I think. in this
What do you mean you
situation.
respect property rights?
They'd be getting
You were on the city
full
council that eminent domained the entire canal district.
price. Really confusing situation from my
Fuck,
perspective.
dude,
looking at
shut up.
what we have.
You're so stupid.
So, again, I
Brian,
don't
were
want
you
council to
serious
have
about
any,
Slam Harder?
But I do want to hear from the
Yeah,
administration.
the
Does
the,
it-
the beat is the Welcome Back is built off the Welcome
Okay.
Back Carter theme song.
I
And
thought
the
so.
chorus
Okay.
is "Who slams harder, Onyx or Vince Carter." It's a fucking banger song.
Driving lessons there too.
Oh, I found it. I just wasn't sure if it was the actual thing or if it was like a joke song. That's awesome.
No, it's
But
sick.
okay, so we'll get a report back. Understand from the state, and Peter Dunn has that conversation. Where that conversation is going, and we'll decide that where it goes from there.
Could drain Coe's Pond and turn that the Mill Street into the pond district.
Service provide council with a report
Here you go.
concerning
Check it out,
feasibility
everybody.
of implementing a vacant property ordinance to help effectively dealing with abandoned or vacant properties that are boarded up, which pose a safety hazard and contribute to neighborhood blight. Further requests of report include information as how the city of Revere vacant property ordinance.
This is going to be, all of these items are just like sort of the classic things that the city councilors who just like to like vetch. How do you say that word? Vetch. Vetch. Without offering practical solutions. This is all just catnip for them. Oh, people aren't plowing the bus stops. They should.
Why hasn't the WRTA plowed that spot?
to maintain their buildings so that they don't.
There's an item on here
neighborhood
asking
life,
about that.
as well as
About the
diverting
WRTA
natural
plow,
resources
like
across
shoveling
there
out their
to
spots. I'm like,
inspire
they've never
tourist
done that
developers.
to my
In
recollection.
some of the
There's a
neighborhoods that I
lot of
involved in
a few different
I hear
speakers on
this
that.
conversation come up a lot. For example, just in the Columbus Park neighborhood area, we had a property.
I like this idea of an underground canal in the chat. Maybe we can get Elon Musk to build an underground canal in the canal district.
If you go on Grove
Oh, the
Street,
canal's there.
yeah, it's you can go if you go to the Northworks building, you can get into it.
That's how Mo Bergman commutes.
Yeah, yeah. You should see like just like millions of decapitated fish skeletons down there from Mo Bergman.
We're not really looking at properties that
The Rat Highway is what Mo Bergman drives on in his car when you see him
violations.
at
We're
the
looking
meetings.
at properties that
Mo Bergman goes to the kitchen at the Sole Proprietor and goes, "You're ruining it."
deal with those vacant, abandoned properties that are blighted. They have boarded up, broken windows,
Nasty hobbitses.
Nasty hobbits, you're ruining it.
I just posted the Free the Canal 3D rendering they showed a while back.
A report considering the feasibility of implementing this bakery.
That would have been a really interesting project.
I would like the commissioner to look at
Would have been amazing.
specifically Revere and Wellington, Delaware. Revere is the first community in Massachusetts that has
I mean,
adopted this, modeled after Wellington,
The
Delaware.
difference between Worcester and
I did a
Providence
little
is
bit more
that
research to see
they
what
pulled
the city
off
of Wilmington,
something like that. They took a
how
chance,
they
and
describe
granted,
their
they
success,
needed
because
a
I'd like to
completely
point a
corrupt,
paragraph and a
mobbed
quote
up
from the
mayor to
Director of
kind of
Policy Development
break through all the red tape to do it.
James
But
Yeah. Okay, so I have a theory about that.
asked about this ordinance.
Providence is the way Providence is, and Worcester is the way Worcester is, because Providence was ruled by the opulent decadency of Italian American immigrants, whereas Worcester is ruled by the self-loathing of Irish American immigrants.
and Polish. Too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's a very good point. That's a very, very good point. It's led. It strongly leads to the aesthetic that we have
in the
in the
number
city
of
today.
vacant properties in the city. I think that
There's a lot of Swedish people here at one point too, so we could lump them in, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
still here.
And they were all Klansmen.
I was gonna say the leading Klansmen were all a lot Swedish.
only as a
I'm watching this 3D rendering. Here, I'm gonna start my cam again. There's just so many people on stream. I'm watching this 3D rendering again, and this would be cool.
I know that there will be some questions around exemptions,
They should have done it.
potential areas. You know, I'm sure that
If we could build log flumes on the hills, you could commute right into the canal too.
that neighbors have been asking for.
It would be so
I don't know how
gnarly.
you would get back, but
the thriving of our neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you. Could we also make our audience doesn't go as far as this, but if we get
We could
our
have Bob
audience-
Largess's
that
horses
too,
pull
see
people
what's
back up.
vacant and being-
I was trying to remember the guy's name, but yeah, it would be horse-drawn carriage.
Yeah, Captain Bob.
After the
That guy drives that fucking thing right through Kelly Square. No fucks given. Just
Oh yeah.
I have not seen that.
Total legend.
one of the first things I did when I moved to Worcester was take that tour.
Chairman, I will rise.
And there was a bunch of high school kids giving you the history of the canal. That's where I learned about Free the Canal to begin with. And that's what got me hooked on Worcester. It was all
If you
like,
if you ever have the ability, if you ever catch Bob around town, beg him to give you his tour of the Hotel Vernon. I'm telling you, it's the best 45 minutes you'll ever spend in your life. It's so great.
Have they started them back up again?
I saw some horse-drawn stuff this past summer.
Yeah, he did it this summer.
But Brian's talking about actually at the Hotel Vernon. Does he
You just
still own the
catch him at-
building?
What?
Does he still own the building?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, he does.
Get this going sooner rather than later, and if the audience
And talk to him about that too. His theory about ownership of that place is like incredible.
Just very briefly,
He's the
one of
steward. He
things
won't call
I
himself the owner.
particularly, liked about
Right.
is that it looks towards some sort of restitution for the costs.
Yes, they do use them during the winter.
By way of fines, I don't know if fines or restitution which way is the better way to go, but we
Mostly at Green Hill Park.
either don't have it or it's not enforced anymore. Where with multiple fire
Just
alarms,
ride them
you
around
have
where
to
they live.
pass on your first one, then the
Yeah.
city
I mean,
Where
it
no
gives
one
them
goes.
exercise, but it also
And we have a
is
lot of
a
vacant
far
properties,
easier way of
and I don't know
navigating
if
the
any of
forest.
existing
Yeah.
ordinances
It is, what,
take
100
this into
acres?
consideration. I don't think they do. I could stand to be corrected. But what I think is important about Council Haxgi's request on this item
He's
is that
fucking
it does contemplate some sort of
blowing it
financial
with her name tonight.
penalty, in light of the fact that there are code, health
Everybody is.
department, fire and police.
Yeah, we do need a buzzer sound effect that goes off every time somebody gets it wrong.
Wrong.
Or maybe a little ding if they get it right for once. Yeah.
Also take into consideration that perhaps what's unique
Joe
about this
corrected
item
the
more so than the others
Fred
is that it
Nathan.
contemplates some sort of
I mean, that was just brutal.
component to it. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Hey, Council King, like to
Who
sign
got
off?
corrected?
So,
Fred
we'll
Nathan
send it to the
called
mayor
her
as amended.
Counselor
All those in
Hajajaj
favor?
or
Opposed?
something along that lines. It was bad.
It's like he was
Request that
laughing
the
in
city clerk
Spanish.
provide the council a report concerning the city clerk's office and Board of Elections Commissioners' plans to educate the public relative to the voting process associated with the new school committee.
Fred
district
Nathan was basically like, yeah, the foreign lady.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pretty much as it reads, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Oh, nice.
But I think
That's cool as hell.
Making sure that
We used
have
to. There was a when like our
Oh,
neighborhood
down
was
goes the mask.
the neighborhood I grew up in was
plan
a
for this,
like a
is
development
incredibly
at some point,
important, and I think
and
dealing
there were
with it
still
now
empty
rather than
houses,
waiting until,
duplexes when we were little,
spring or
and we used
or
to open
fall,
up
I'm
the
sorry,
a
the
couple of the
spring or summer,
houses, and we would
to
like
do this
get
is
into fights
important.
inside of it and stuff.
So
It was pretty dangerous.
I'm sorry.
I lived in a neighborhood where they were
Thank you, Mr.
developing,
Chairman.
so there were like
Looking
all these
forward to the new
foundations
district
poured,
boundaries
and then they would
of
like
the,
slowly build up the house, and we
school
would ride our
committee.
bikes through people's basements. I was
Really
in
proud of all
everybody's
that we've
basement of
laid
that
in, all
neighborhood
that
before they owned their house.
decisions that this body made.
But yeah, there's
Oh.
rebar
That
kicking
being
out all
said,
over the
one of
place
things
that anybody
was
could have gotten
added
impaled
in
on.
this discussion
We used to try
from
and find the
folks,
keys for like the
2
heavy
nights ago,
equipment.
as you look at the map that was on the
Because we
website,
live like
it's what, 80s, like
Parsons
50
Hill was behind us,
districts that are,
and it
I
was
think,
woods, like all woods,
letters.
my whole entire
And
childhood until I was like
one of the
around 11
asks
years old. They
that
started building up back
was
there
brought to
more,
me
and
a couple of
yeah, we used
days
to just
ago was
go into every
around
house they're building.
if it's possible for the city
If you live on
do an
Parsons Hill,
additional
I'm
map,
sorry, one of my friends might have peed
just
in your
so
tub.
folks can have a visual. You have A, B, say F, for example, District F.
Y'all have such stories about like adventures as a
there's
youth, and
some
I'm
of, I
just
think,
like,
10, 1 and 7,
I went outside
whatever,
once
9s.
adventuring with neighbors,
folks
and
are
my
just
foot got stuck
wondering
in a bog
what
and I lost my
schools
sneaker.
actually fit.
And then I just stayed inside
So yeah, the
on
street names,
ICQ and
broken down,
MIRC
but
and
there's some
all of that
overlap,
fun stuff.
where
Apparently,
a district like
MIRC's
UIP actually has
lifetime
some
membership
south,
has
someone that's already
disappeared.
as a school committee.
Like 3 or 4 months ago, they decided that everyone who
folks are
was more
just
than 10
wondering,
years
folks that
in on their
elect,
lifetime
which
account now has to pay
schools will
again.
they likely have children at. So my
That's not-
question to the chair.
But
to
that
the
was
clerk
my
is,
childhood
A,
was MIRC.
the
and
renditions of maps that we have, was that something
role
that
playing
was
We were
chats
just
on
we were on the
AOL.
cusp.
B,
We were on the cusp of
is
the
it
internet.
possible
Like
to produce
the internet really wasn't a
a,
thing until
a visual map
I
where, if I'm
was
looking at
Sixth
AIC
grade
or
for me.
whatever
yeah,
district it
sixth
is,
grade was when we
we can
really
have a
started like
listing in
anything
those
beyond like
sections
Yahoo,
instead of the
you know,
street names. and
Yahoo
visual
Yeah, I was
map
on
showing what
ProdigyNet and
schools,
CompuServe
would be represented
when I
by
was like
that
3 to 6 years
person
old,
that's elected.
and then we got AOL.
yeah.
Through the chair to the council, we can
I
certainly
was
look at it. I think the
born in
Research Bureau
'88,
in their
so
report did identify the
I don't know
schools
where I fall in
associated
terms
with the
of
district.
You're only 2
where
years
y'all
younger
are.
than me, but
I'll bring
there's
back a
yeah, it's
report
just
on
it's
this,
the cut.
but just to clarify based on the order as
It's
well
so
as what you're
weird. Everyone's
requesting.
experiences during
Right now, we're
our
working with the
generation are so
Secretary of the
different.
Commonwealth to change the voter registration database.
And it was
First
weird
of all,
because
we're
we
recognizing the
lived
streets
we're
affected.
city kids, but we
Recognizing
grew
the
up
districts
on the
affected,
edge
and
of the
then we're gonna have to
city
go and change
in the
the voter
woods
registration
essentially,
database.
and so we just
We changed the voter registration database
run
every
Yeah, and I
2
was not a
years,
city
so
kid.
which we
awful.
did about 12 months ago. So now it
I
requires,
grew up in
it
Armonk,
requires
New
another
York.
change based on the
Yeah.
school committee district.
I grew up in
If you
Watertown,
watch the
Connecticut.
Stepford
The
Wives, that's a
examination
pretty good
pieces.
estimation of my
One of the
town.
major issues we're dealing with right now is we have different splits.
It was actually based on
local
Greenwich, Connecticut,
elections
which I
and
could
different
probably
splits
throw
Oh,
a
I've
stone
in
from
Oh,
my
they're
certain
talking
backyard and hit.
Nico's
so.
talking
Especially
about
one of
the
precincts 4-2 has
districts,
different
yeah.
splits for a certain population. So it hasn't been done as far as I've seen so far in the state before. So does that require us to change the voter registration database every year now?
That was my
So
favorite.
that's a lot of the questions we're dealing with the state. Because again, as I reported last week, we're the first city in the Commonwealth to kind of implement this kind of a election system going between state elections and local elections. But certainly I'll bring a report back on that. And when it comes to the school districts, we can work with GIS because we do work closely with our technical service department. Without them, we can't do any of the mapping or any of the voter registration database changes. So what I'll do is I'll bring back a report in a few weeks. We also have meetings with the Board of Election Commissions to discuss, how we kind of implement these changes, how we educate the public in the next few months.
My computer is being an impish trickster tonight.
With the Board of Election Commissioners, with the Secretary of the Commonwealth, with the Clerk's Office, as well as, taking feedback from the council here on some of the best practices, how to implement this new voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had an item on.
He is so pissed that the city council's not just going to match the school committee. It's making his life a living hell in terms of registration
Can you
tracking.
still have that sample ballot up, Trav?
Say thank you to the clerk,
Dude,
the elections commissions, board of.
it was so frustrating
Clerk's
to
office.
write very clearly about how much of a problem that was, and have city councils like Christian also identify that and have nothing come of it. And they're just like, nope, we're just gonna make it wicked confusing.
Well, it's, there's an angle there as far as like that they're not getting is that
I think that's
when the next elections are fucked up, they might they're not changing anything because they think it'll help them. Like people that are refusing to do anything about it think it'll help them the next election. But when it's fucked up and people are pissed off about it, that gives you everything you need to like just be like, okay, you're done. That's done. That's it. Also, there's not enough people vote anyways that like you can't overcome the confusion. As long as there's like a push to really educate people on what their ballots are going to be and how to try and overcome all the confusion, then it's not going to fucking do anything.
This is an order that I have put out. And I'm
All
really
of
glad that,
Donna Colorio's voters are the oldest people alive. They're not going to know how to handle this, and they're just going to respond by not voting.
Thank you.
And we see them here every Tuesday night.
Yes.
And do a good job, Councilor Toomey.
I highly doubt that.
Working
right?
on that image.
The manager, all those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Next item is requesting made by the council report concerning the progress is made by the chief.
In Worcester, politics are especially dumb just by nature of the people doing it. Very low bar.
Our department, kind of early on in the different departments.
I think we have a real good chance this coming year to maybe shift that, which would be freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Between Mady and Domenica and a few other people who haven't quite announced yet, I am really hopeful.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
WRTA administrator relative to the removal of the bus route that passes the Equatorium 22.
Here's the bus thing.
Councilor Bergman, Merrill Carlson.
One of several bus things, actually.
Yeah.
Committee, all those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Request of the
Oh, thank God we're not talking about that.
Ports and Parks make structural and lighting improvements to the basketball court in Holly Street. Councilor Rivera.
As it reads, come on, as it reads.
Repeatedly has come up. We really need to take a look at lighting in this area. There's a lot of work. There's a new TDI happening in that area. And this is just something that continues to come up over and over again. And if we could just consider really taking a look at,
I think the chances of knocking Donna off are better than not.
Structural and lighting improvements to the basketball
Yeah.
Bergman too was pretty much hanging on by a thread.
Bergman's on the lower end.
Toomey's the target. Toomey's the one that's going to take some work.
Next time, request the manager work with the WRTA administrator to provide the council the report concerning.
What about Candy? Any hope? Or?
There seems like there's a chance that Candy is not even going to run.
Oh,
that'd be amazing.
District.
If Candy doesn't run, who the hell's gonna run?
I heard, especially earlier this year. It hasn't come up lately, so I'm not really sure where things stand. But Johanna nearly took her out.
She is in District 3 now.
I know. I'm saying, but an unsupported candidate with no experience and no infrastructure almost knocked her off. That's blood in the water. And then all the people after that start talking about how they're potentially going to run.
They're supposed to remove, and the reality is that they
so
to my understanding,
I feel like if anybody ran, and there was at least just a
but that
little
doesn't
bit of
And
support,
it's, you know,
then
when I think
there's
about
a
some of the
really
areas
strong
in my
chance that
district where there are people that are
Candy would lose her spot, and
shoulders, but
Yeah.
that's the chatter that I've been hearing. Nothing solid, but just that
I
she
haven't
might
heard
just
about
bounce.
any good candidates so far. I was getting bullied, pressured and peer pressured into doing it because I'm D2, but it's just really not a good idea.
No,
it's not a good idea for me to do that at all.
you're a
And
journalist, you shouldn't be
I'd be wicked pissed if I won. I'd be like, fuck.
Just like Trump was.
Then you'd have to be there with us heckling you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there is something to be said about changing the way that city councilors see themselves, to be more of like a community service, like just the way that two does it.
Not going out at all because it's just
But
limited.
I'm not the person to do that. No way.
Then the other thing,
No, they're
looking at
it's just
doing
it's
some sort of an audit.
I don't think it would best serve your career to do that, and also
No.
you'd be fucking miserable. You'd be so
I'd be
pissed off.
I'd be so bummed. I'd be
And
so
you wouldn't be able to
bummed.
do this show.
No, well, I could.
Well, yeah, it's
There's
true.
nothing in those state laws says you can.
It's true. You can't be on streaming live.
Can't be on Twitch.
That'd be so awesome to set an open meeting law precedent where you can't do a Twitch stream at the same time as you're sitting on the city council floor.
So this rematch is not happening. Rose already announced he's not running again.
Yeah.
Cipro, who knows? He would be stupid to run with all
We
the
don't-
DOJ stuff going on. We talked about
Yeah.
that.
I was seeing a bunch of things about him running, and then the DOJ stuff came out, and that all just went quiet. And from discussions with somebody who is likely running, it seems like there is a very, very minimal, extremely minimal chance that he's actually running.
Yeah, I don't think so. There would be there's no angle for him anymore.
A rumor that I've heard for D1 for the old heads is that Tony Economou is going to run for the seat. And he's like a George Russell type figure.
Yeah.
So it'd be like a net neutral if he were
And then there's
to.
Gerardo.
Yeah, hopefully Gerardo doesn't run.
Making sure
He's
that they
dumb.
remove the snow adequately, not just a spot, and that we get to do some sort of.
Yeah, Gerardo is such a weird fucking case. I don't know.
He's like weirdly both a Democrat and not.
Yes. Yeah.
Which makes him a
He's
perfect
like not
Democrat.
even a dino. He just literally goes back and forth.
Yeah. He also just acts like a fucking idiot sometimes, and he shouldn't expose himself to a political process.
My colleague.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is so important this time of year.
He's
I just want to
too crazy.
reiterate the safety issues.
There is
cold
one
issues,
person that I've heard
particularly
about for
older,
D2 that
trying to
I
get
think
through the snow
not gonna blow up
and
their spot. And
sometimes
just
they
Yeah.
either way, if they're
home
planning to
boots and they're
announce or
trying
if
to
they're
get through with
not going to
sneakers
announce, I don't
on,
want to say
and the
anything.
snow's
But
all the way up
I
their
think it
legs
would
and
be
they're
a
getting
pretty
frostbitten
good
and
race,
everything. So
and
excellent
maybe
orders, totally
not
supportive
enough to
them,
scare
and
off
I'll
Candy, but
sign
at
on,
least
and then I'll come up so I can
possibly
call you.
a relatively easy
Mayor
win.
Petty.
But I don't know. It's again, nothing's confirmed. Who knows? It's all
Yeah.
speculation. But I think Maine Southpaw is right. I think there's going to be some surprises.
Yeah.
Just based on all of
By
just
Councilor King.
the state of things right now.
Listen to Councilor Rivera. Listen to
So,
Councilor.
I don't know. We'll see.
One of the things I want to do probably in January is write like a sort of thing demystifying what it takes to run for city council.
Yeah.
And kind of like explaining like the mechanics of getting into it, because I think a lot of people that like are hungry to do something good for the city just look at that whole process and go, oh, I don't have a way into that. But it really is so easy
It's
to
both
just like,
easy and very difficult at the same time.
right, but
Having
it's
been a
like,
candidate, like it is not. I went in saying, "Oh, I've got the skills to do this," and it still was a absolute nightmare because I didn't have the right team behind me. So there's a lot of moving pieces in building a campaign and getting it to
First
be
of all,
successful.
report that, please. I was like, what the fuck is Joe talking about right now? He's like,
Yeah, he
pointing
seems
at-
pretty animated.
Sexually suggested. Here we go. Thank you.
Excuse me, Facebook.
I want to hear what Joe's talking. He was just like,
a decent explanation.
Yeah,
I
he's
just think
animated.
here, this council meeting, or on Zoom, or other meetings, almost every week now. Just this stuff isn't that hard. It's not that hard, you know. It isn't. So I'd like to get the WRTA in this room to explain to the full city council, because it's not just one district; it's every district. And then from there, we can send it all back to the Public Service and Transportation Committee. But I think this council deserves an explanation of where we're going with the fare free, where we're going with all these other items that we're receiving tonight. And
I don't know. I'm still not sure. Right now, it's a no. Dealing with other stuff and focusing
Councilor
on
Bergman, followed by Councilor King.
pushing off
Thank you, Madam
or
Vice
kicking off
Chair.
stuff for the charter review process.
We have a scheduled
I'm
meeting.
kind of focusing on that first because I think I'm
we do.
more
But I
able
so
to get
respect,
stuff done
and
from that.
understand the mayor, Councilor Rivera, and other of my colleagues who have spoken on this. I don't know what entity gets the most complimentary orders over the last 9 years I've been on the council, but I can tell you what gets the least. And unfortunately, it's WRTA. Now, the frustration is that we don't really control it. It's not a department of the city, but we do have representation on it. This isn't a personal issue, but when we sat at a previous WRTA meeting, we just don't seem to get answers. It just seems to be kicking the can down the road. And there are very good safety issues that have run.
My "this isn't a personal issue" shirt has a lot of people asking questions already answered by my shirt.
Get the WRTA to respond. I don't have an easy answer to that, except I think this is one of those issues.
Listen, I know no one asked, but this is definitely not a personal issue. And I definitely don't feel like a little Lord Farquaad who got snubbed by an ancillary board on the city and actually don't care about the subject matter. I just want to rub their nose in it.
now with Mo, this could mean either definition of sundowning. So
There's another definition beyond aging.
Sundown towns, yeah.
Oh, sundown towns, yeah.
To get their input.
I thought you meant about a person.
Starts with the inability to listen to people, and then it
I was just taking the definition loosely to call him a piece of
Oh,
shit.
I was just assuming there was something drugs related.
Yeah, conceptual or something. Some sort of Urban Dictionary related definition. Yeah.
Because that would be me.
But I think
the clueless one.
And this might be the night that the WRTA and whoever the representation is that's listening understands. And I don't think there's one counselor here.
I went to a tea house in Pittsburgh that served kratom and something else called kava.
The next council
yeah, I had a shot of kava. Was feeling pretty good.
Of course, everybody.
Place in Burlington, Vermont that sells those too.
Yeah.
And salvia.
Salvia rules.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh man.
I know we have a representative. I think it's Gary Rosen, right? Through the chair, what is his title exactly? What is it? Position
Petty
called? I
bitch.
forget.
He's a board member.
He's a board member.
He has not announced.
And from what I recall,
I have no idea what his status is
we
currently.
carry a good deal of weight with the WRTA.
I think it's a safe bet that at some point he's going to run for something.
Just
but
explain that
he
to the
hasn't
chair.
announced anything yet.
Our position on that board, and what sort of leverage we have there.
Mr. Manager.
Through the chair to the council. Our
System,
current,
if you're being for real,
board member
send
representative is
send
Gary
us a
Rosen.
message
He's currently
or
the
drop
chairman
your fucking
of
Venmo in the
board.
chat.
And we have because of the type of region or the geography in terms of the usage of the bus system, we have a certain percentage of weight that carries within the decision of that board.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to
But he was. I know he was considering district.
I was there. I think
for city council as well at some point, but redistricting just put him a parking lot into Attell's district. Like literally across the parking lot is Rivera's district. And I'm hearing that Rivera might not be running again.
I think we want Lipka. We want him here.
Yep.
Could also be up in the air.
That's a rumor for sure.
My question to the chair is in regards to all this. I know it's been very clear from what I hear, it's the responsibility of the WRTA related to snow.
And I still haven't been able to gather any info on which way
at
Petty's
any
leaning
point
either.
as a city have any response?
I thought we were pretty well sure that Petty is not doing it.
He's not.
Those,
Although that's just kind of maybe like a rumor feedback loop type situation. You know?
Yeah.
Like I haven't been able to find anything serious about it. Like anyone who like really knows, it's all been the like, well, the rumor is.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Is assured to the extent practicable. So do we
I mean,
have
yeah.
any responsibility
The other thing
whatsoever?
is
And
too
if
with
so,
him,
at
he
what
could always
point
change his
in the
mind
future?
too. So
Yeah, pull a Tom Brady.
You know, there's been situations
yeah,
in the
exactly.
past where
Yeah, but right now announced
Tom Petty.
for
Oh wait, that's already a guy.
we've got
New guy alert.
we don't even have everyone for each district for the school committee.
Space just like we do with fire hydrants
Right.
and other
Yeah.
There's two districts
outside of
of
that,
the
there's
school
no
committee
other
that don't have
mechanism
anyone
for
running in
us
them yet.
to, you know, kind of like what we do with
Yeah, Tracy announced, right?
property owners that if you
Yeah, for
don't
at large, yeah.
Sue's at large. Drama is gonna go district. She's
we don't have those types of mechanisms.
B. All I know is it
Thank you.
includes
You know,
Plantation
the
Street,
visual of folks
by Grafton Circle,
standing in the middle of the
north,
road,
north up from there. I don't know
elderly
how far up.
folks who are
I don't have the map in
by
front of me.
themselves, individuals, disabled folks, children is
And then we've got somebody new in District E.
District E? Oh wait, they're lettered districts?
Event.
They lettered them. Yeah.
on the city.
Wait, when did that come out?
That was on the sample ballot.
Yep.
Oh my god, that's so stupid. Holy
It
shit.
is.
I think that would help.
Dude, that's so annoying. Worcester's so fucking annoying.
And the last thing that I would suggest,
Yeah, because
Councilor
the city
Rivera
council wasn't the one that got sued.
Councilor Rivera,
yeah,
you know, we have a pretty good state delegation here in the city.
God, just the bar is so fucking low.
New senator, you know, and we have House Leader, and Representative O'Day, and I would recommend that the administration
Maybe it wasn't
work
E.
with the
The cold, bitter
kids call it
irony.
Molly now.
kind of outlining our concerns and asking them to.
If Susie gets to run unopposed because there's no one else in her arbitrary district, just the cold, bitter irony of that.
Like the chair,
like,
of the
oh,
committee,
progressive reform leads to total regressive outcome.
I mean, that was what we talked about at the time. That would be the danger of it.
Yeah.
And about the idea of pushing for it, even though, because it's the right thing to do, even though it's potentially bad politically.
Proactive way. So that'd be
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's just so many other things that have to change culturally.
The additional items.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Councilor Bergman.
Shelter item, because it's timely, it's public safety, and we are having a meeting
True.
January 5th. Consider setting that one particular.
I'm really surprised that a lot of them are not announcing already
As amended.
that they're waiting until next
That's
year
not the shelter
because
item,
of the
that's
way
a
the campaign finance
issue
in
regarding,
Massachusetts works, which is a calendar year based
I think it's
donation
10I,
cycle.
10 what? 10 I.
Oh, okay.
So like you've got $1,000 max candidate
As
every
amended.
calendar year,
Those in favor,
not
opposed, so
cycle.
applauded.
That's why we
Right.
saw a fair few
So
people
anyone
announcing.
out there who
yeah.
could potentially come close to maxing out at $1,000 of either financial or in-kind contributions to a candidate, do your donation before December 31st to help them out.
Yenni, I was talking to somebody and they felt like announcing now would be on deaf ears. Do you agree or disagree between now and New Year's?
Hard agree.
I don't disagree with that, but filing with OCPF so you can take in donations is not.
Yeah.
It's a soft launch. You can still announce in January.
Chairman, a number of us, not all of us, go through that.
I also think that too. Like 3 weeks ago would have been a
Yeah.
like a
Oh,
perfectly
agreed.
fine time.
that
It's
it's
but yeah,
Beginning
this
of
week,
December.
Yeah.
over the last few years. And I've certainly, and others, my colleagues have been trying
But
to
there was,
address
you know,
those.
there was a
I understand
pretty
that
fair
there
amount
will
of
be some-
coverage
likely be some more information.
when Shaun
updates
announced that he was not running. There was a fair amount of coverage of or like talk about all of it. You know, about the speculation about the whole race overall.
Winter's coming for sure, but still
That
isn't spring, and
that everybody could have jumped in on.
be able to see
Yeah. From a media perspective, you gotta like find a bigger fish to be the follow of. So the best time to announce, honestly, would be after Petty announces either way, and like the day after, you know,
And
just
that's
from
maybe-
the
yeah.
and who knows how
Or
long he's gonna take. Yeah,
Be ready to announce for when he does it. Just have that button at the ready.
yeah.
I mean, anybody that's really serious and
this
about
is
running
his district, but it's
should
certainly something he's
already have their
aware of
finger
as
on the
well.
button.
It's just an
I would
odd
think.
Yeah.
setup over there where in order
Agreed.
to go down Acton Street and this number of
That
businesses
mask
over
is doing
there,
Toomey a
you
world of
actually
good.
have to go down a one-way
Oh,
street.
look, look, she
you.
heard me.
Sure, G.
Our biggest fan.
I don't
Hi,
know,
Kate.
Thanks,
but,
thanks
That's
for watching,
so
Kate.
sick.
Oh, Kate,
That's
we'll
so
run that
sick.
ad again.
Kathleen.
She's got. She's just got one AirPod in, listening to our stream.
We'd like to personally thank Kate Toomey for all her donations to our stream tonight.
Yeah.
Kate, flip off the camera if you're listening.
I do appreciate that she is wearing a mask.
I don't know if Acton
I'm
Street-
surprised that not more people in the room are wearing a mask, given the fact that our hospital is like practically overrun.
Yeah.
She's quasi wearing a mask.
pose all sorts
Yeah.
of questions on how do you get down there and are you going to cause an
Tara, if you
accident?
want to go
Try
outside,
get
go
down.
outside.
It's not fair to the drivers.
Okay, fine, I will.
To the business owners. I'm
Oh,
sure
sorry, I
we
thought
can
I
come up
needed.
with something that makes more sense. Thank you.
The venue we played in Hartford, Connecticut, the green room was just constantly playing South Park, and we didn't watch any of the other bands. We just watched South Park the entire time, and we watched both or two of the three COVID specials, and they were so good.
You played the Webster, right?
Yeah, Webster Hall.
Yeah, I have so many memories of the Webster Theater.
Of watching South Park.
The little room.
Oh,
yeah, watching South Park.
The Webster Underground.
Yeah, Webster Underground. Yeah, right.
Ooh, rocking Georgeception right now. A lot of hand movements.
Oh, yeah. I wish they would zoom out a little more so you get one more.
Every once in a while,
One more
depending on
level.
who's running the camera, they got half an eye on it. So
I know one of the people that does the cameras, and I ask her all the time, please just zoom out a little more on George Russell.
Beck, if you're listening, not that you would be while you're working, but if in theory,
No,
somebody
you would
was
definitely
near
not.
you, Yeah.
No, this was go in. I
Yes, thank you.
And then the compromise because they were.
They don't pay attention to that feed.
Bakery and the pizza parlor and a few other.
I would. What else are they?
Listen, you'll never know if you don't try.
We shoot our shot on this show.
Yeah.
Also, Jay's comment: is the mayor's chair big enough?
Here on
I was
Worcester
gonna
Council
ask
Theater,
about that.
3,000. Yeah.
I was going to ask about the chair. I don't know if that's come up in previous episodes.
We talk
but-
about it a lot. Yeah,
Okay.
it's crazy. It's wild. He's not actually even technically sitting in it. He's
Right,
sitting in a
that's the
chair
other.
within it.
That's the history
It's
of
like-
it.
Chairception.
None of you would agree with it. We all wrote letters about it.
Oh, that's
We
cool.
Tried to talk to
All
her.
right.
It's one of those things.
That's not fair to everybody that died of cancer already. So we should decline this cure.
Oh my God.
And they said, yeah, this is going to improve the level. of
How are the hospitals going to make any money if we
Yeah.
cure cancer?
We killed so many jobs.
Yeah.
And we'll give them that. And as a result of
My
slowing down
my poor grandfather that
it's
died
done
in
is it's cut down
1997
the
of
truck
lung
traffic.
cancer.
We
He
used to
deserved
sit
the
in this
cure
council
too.
chamber,
You're not allowed to take it, anybody.
week after week.
Yeah. Unless you are inventing a time machine along with this vaccine.
That's true.
Then it's okay.
They got nuclear fusion working, so apparently.
They're no longer telling them it's the quickest route is to cut through Grafton.
Yeah, here in Massachusetts,
They tell them
even
to stay
it'll
on
be ground
290
zero for that
instead of
explosion.
fucking doing it.
Hell yeah.
So they did
It'll be an implosion.
That's awesome.
Just
It'll
yeah.
suck us all in.
Blessings on the truck traffic.
I think Yenni's dogs talk to my dogs, so I gotta go take them out. Be right back.
Sorry. She was actually just asking for water, but
Okay, so we'll send that to the city manager. All those in favor, opposed,
Yeah,
so
she
ordered.
does the same action when
Request
she
the city
wants
manager
water
explore the
and
feasibility of
outside.
adding sidewalks and Holmes Street in
And
the area of
the only way we
Bogwood
can
Road,
tell the
Cliff City
difference is
Road,
we
as
try and
well
get
as
her to
Chester
go
Street
outside, and she
and Lansing
won't.
Ave. This is
She
Council
sits
Road.
down in front of
Council
her
Road
water
is
bowl.
also
Ah,
It's the
located
there you
on
go.
only
19th.
difference.
They asked
That
us
she
to
won't
file
leave
this.
in front of
So
her
to
water
file.
bowl to go to the door.
And so motion is to file. All those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
Fucking dogs.
Next item is request the city manager explore the feasibility of recruiting and hiring lifeguards for the 2023 summer season by way of paying.
Oh, this is the last order.
Programs offering to pay for transportation to their training in a way that is comparable to other municipalities in the states. The council is asked to hold that under privilege, so we'll hold that under privilege.
Why are you holding that?
Communications, 11A.
Because you got to hold at least something every meeting.
Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 11B.
It keeps the audience
So it
engaged.
seems
Yeah,
like they
tune in
may
next
be
week.
reaching an agreement, according to something Kevin Sen shared on Twitter that I didn't actually fully read. I just saw the tweet.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't dug into that yet. I have a lot of stuff to read.
So it does include the school
I'm waiting for my brain
structure,
to come
as
back.
well as talks about the election process. So if
Because, man, touring in the winter fucking kicks the goddamn shit out of you. It is so crazy.
So you can take
So
your
much
half,
worse than
whatever's
when
left
it's
over
warm.
counts on the one you get. Okay, those in favor, opposed, so ordered.
At least you don't deal with any equipment melting.
To grant exemptions to tour
No, that's true.
to 4 snowplow contractors that are also city employees, adopting the roll call. Roll call.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio?
Yes.
Council Haji? Council
I
King?
helped a
Council
band
Yan?
write a song, and I
Council Rivera? Council Russell?
did background vocal
Council
recording
Toomey?
on it.
Oh, cool.
Back in high school.
Yes.
And
12A,
when
12B,
they
the
were
First
doing their
Economic
tour
Development
with it
Committee, all those in
that
favor,
summer, my
opposed,
mom
so
allowed me to
ordered.
go to
And
a
we
couple of the local ones
12C,
with
report
them.
of the Public Works, so those in
Sick.
favor,
And they
opposed, so
actually
ordered.
had like
13A,
cords
13
melt.
Beads.
Oh, shit. It
Had
was
to,
that
like,
hot?
run to music stores to get
on a roll call
replacement type
collectively.
stuff.
They play
so
around.
they could do
Dang.
their sets.
Council Bergman?
Yes.
Council Calorio? Council Haji?
Crazy.
Council King?
Yes.
Where they play on the sun?
Council Rivera?
Hey, yo.
No,
Was it
New
Smash
York.
Mouth?
Council Toomey?
Yes.
It was New York and Connecticut.
C, motion to accept.
Danbury.
Dang.
All those in favor, opposed, so ordered. 13D, motion to accept.
Yep.
All
All
those
those
in
venues
favor,
are closed
opposed, so
now.
Ordered. 14A and 14B, the motions to accept and
Those were
adopt
some
on a roll
real
call.
back alley
Works
venues.
Committee. Roll call.
And
Yeah.
I really
Played a
legally
couple of
should
those.
not have been in age-wise.
Council King?
Yeah. I have been there before.
Yes.
Council Nguyen?
Yes.
Council Rivera?
Yes.
Council Russell?
Yes.
Council Toomey?
Yes.
I actually
Petty.
dressed up as my
Okay, 15A, motions to adjourn on the roll
2005
call.
self for Halloween
Council
from
Bergman?
like
Yes.
a
Council
photo
Calorio?
of an
Yes.
outfit that I wore to one of the concerts.
Council King?
Yes.
Were you wearing those shirts with the hole for the thumb,
Russell?
Yes.
the long
Toomey?
sleeve that come up to
No.
here?
No, those
A bunch of
bugged me
jelly
too much.
bracelets?
I did have the micro fishnet that was colored to look like tattoos.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I had that.
Oh, okay.
Gotta get those sleeves, bruh.
Under
Mm-hmm.
suspension, Council Nguyen.
Oh yeah, Lou Barlow. You know, that was actually that person was Neil McNamara, the patch reporter.
And that it's the holiday season.
Pretty sure.
You know, not everyone is fortunate enough to be inside and have shelter.
That did the Lou Barlow show.
I know my first order when I became a counselor was about warming and cooling centers. And
Nothing
tragically,
happened with that.
a year later, bringing it up again. So, you know, I would just like to request the city manager to provide the council with an update on the plan for the warming and cooling center this year. You know, I just hope that we have something set up for this winter, and of course, you know, have something, as we talked about, to be able to just trigger whenever there's cold or warm weather or heating hot weather. Thank you.
Okay. Those in favor, opposed, so ordered. Seeing nobody else, we will motion to adjourn, but probably have a happy holiday, everyone. And we have the next 2 Tuesdays off, so we'll see you on the 10th. The 10th. I think Tuesday the 10th, if that's the 10th. And Councilor Bergman, looking forward to your report back to the council from the Public Service Transportation Committee.
Get ready.
And So it's
Get ready, he says.
Monica,
I mean, I wasn't there last week to really talk about it, but wow, Worcester really did an exceptionally horrible job with the snow removal, huh? Like that was insane. 50 accidents.
We ended up talking about that a lot. Last
Yeah,
week because
that's just straight up incompetence. Like they didn't pre-treat the roads. Like, what are you doing?
They didn't pre-treat the roads because they hadn't converted the trucks over from leaf pickup, even though they had 5 days between the last day of leaf pickup and the storm, and they knew about the storm even before that 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Nice.
70 actually. The Globe got it wrong.
That's really sick. That's you know what? Score one in Eric Batista's corner. Good job.
Killing it.
They also, when they put out the notice about the parking ban, they put out the press release for it and they posted it on Twitter. They did not update the parking ban page of the website. So the parking ban page of the website for 3 hours after the press release went out still said there were no parking ban. And it didn't go out on Facebook or to Alert Worcester or onto that page of the website until 6 p.m. when the garages were opening for free.
Also, they never said when it was lifted. They retroactively said that it had been lifted at midnight, like midway into the next day. So a bunch of people probably got charged at the garages.
Hey, you know what? The developers like him. You know, so all that you just got to accept it because the developers like it. So
yeah, on Sunday night I was talking to him at the homeless shelter thing, and I was trying to get him to understand that like there was a confusion happening of is there a snow ban or not because of this 3-hour delay in putting the information out there on the different platforms. And he's like, well, it's all supposed to go out to all social media at once. And I'm like, okay, it didn't. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It was like pulling teeth trying to get him to understand that the 3-hour delay was unacceptable and it needed to be fixed.
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
Because
How was that
you should
meeting?
hit one button and it should update Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram all at once.
Yep.
You don't need to go posting individually on those platforms.
Yeah.
There's tools for this.
Well, that would be a modern facing city, but our city does not have those tools at the ready.
No,
I'm still
nor
I am
any
annoyed,
interest in
I'm
investing
annoyed
in
though
it.
they shut down the snow parking ban Twitter account. There was a Twitter account that just tweeted what the parking bans, and you could set it up to alert. So I got alerts on my phone whenever, and they shut it down in November, and it's just like the 311 department. But you can't there's no way to just get an alert when there's a parking ban. I have to turn on like a
Well, you can sign up for Alert Worcester.
Yeah, and then
I
you can get
understand.
a text message and a phone call every time
Yeah.
the thing.
And an email.
And a voicemail if you don't pick up the phone call. So.
Cool. All right. I guess I'll do that. My
Yeah,
system
no,
is
it's
pretty
great.
really
No, it's
great.
great.
What they do utilize of it is utilized well. It's not spammy. It's not over messaging you. In fact, it doesn't message enough, in my opinion. But
do they have one for just parking bans, or does it
No,
tell you about everything?
I don't think so.
I just want parking bans. That's all I need to know.
I just want one for sewage overflows.
Yeah.
Oh, we got another one of those.
They'll be blowing up your damn phone every fucking second, man.
Yeah, dude, it just keeps
Careful what you
happening.
wish for.
It's crazy that it just keeps happening.
And we
But
just
anyway,
got
Yenni,
fined
I wanted to ask you about that meeting on Sunday because I couldn't go to it. But it was just what you thought about it and like what the temperatures of the room was. It's the church is called the Blessed Heart Sacrament
Blessed
Church.
Sacrament.
Blessed Sacrament. Okay,
Yep.
yeah.
It's on
Molly.
almost the corner of Park and Pleasant. And
Yeah.
the temperature in the room at that and the neighborhood watch meeting 3 days later was folks like Wayne Griffin
Oh God.
being pains in the asses about all of it, saying that it was because they didn't get enough notice and they didn't get enough input, and it's a private agreement between two private organizations. It did not require the city involvement at all, and they're just doing this courtesy of making sure the information gets out there. But everyone's like attacking Attell over it, of course, because she didn't do enough to get the notice out, even though she door knocked every single abutter and abutting business within like a 4-block radius in 3 days.
Jesus Christ.
Like,
I
that's
hate people
no,
so much.
she's not doing enough at all.
I couldn't. I don't know how Attell does it. I mean, she just takes it on the chin.
Yeah,
every
the
single
shelter
week.
is open now. It opened on Monday.
Good. That's just these people.
It's
These fucking people.
It's our first shelter with wraparound services.
Good. I'm glad.
And so a lot of the folks who were hired to work there worked at Net of Compassion with Hotel Grace.
Mhm.
And they said that at Net of Compassion, they had 60 something of the 120, 130 something people that used Hotel Grace last winter use their addiction counselor, their single addiction counselor.
Right.
That would come in like a couple days a week. So now they have the wraparound services for addiction, for mental health, for housing, for employment. They're going to have showers and washing facilities at the location. And there's going to be like a lot of help to give folks because of the connection with Open Sky.
Good. Good.
Yeah. I'm really, really hopeful that this works well. Yeah. But it was really telling that it was the 11th location that they tried to put this in.
Right.
And most of the rest of them were churches, and they said no for one reason or another, and Bishop McManus didn't show up on Sunday night. So
surprise.
I was
Yeah.
too busy
Shock.
covering up another pedophile priest scandal. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I'm actually kind of glad he wasn't.
Those
there.
are really clear the calendar. You know what I mean?
I mean, it takes up most of the year when you're waiting to report it. So.
'Tis the season, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and then in the spring he does his annual letter about Nativity School.
Right.
Yeah. Has to go around saying that Black lives don't matter. Never have. Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Yes,
So-
Gia Hellraiser, it is a temporary facility. It closes on March 31st. They are currently working on the conversion of the hotel by Lincoln Plaza. Yeah.
Is there this one's not open yet at Blessed Sacrament yet though?
Blessed Sacrament opened on Monday.
Okay, all right, good.
Yep.
All right. Great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
A little late, but good that it exists.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they signed the agreement on November 28th.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
the speed
yeah.
at which this happened was like
Yeah, right,
nothing
right.
I've ever seen in government.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Which was all of a sudden a problem for people.
Yeah, because people
No, the
here are
government's moving
fucking
too
shitheads. Yeah.
We weren't consulted. Same thing's happening with the hotel conversion. That's right. Nobody just wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
so
shut
they
up.
they blew through everything really tonight.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they blew through 12B. So
wait, which one's 12B?
that was the cannabis.
Cannabis one, yeah.
Yeah.
Did they vote on it? Did they hold it? What even happened?
So that was just like like an all in favor, opposed, so ordered sort of thing.
They
So I gotta.
Did they? File
Yeah. Well, hold on. I gotta look at the agenda again to see what the actual action was.
It was a report of the planning
From the
committee
planning
upon
board,
the communication of the city manager, recommend adoption of an ordinance to amend the city zoning ordinance relative to adult use marijuana.
Yeah, and yeah. So actually, I'm kind of lost on the process of that. Then
Did they adopt the report? Did they file it? I thought they said. I mean, it was quick, but I thought they said they adopted the report. They filed the report.
No, I don't know. I'm asking, not telling. I don't know.
I think.
Yeah, hold on.
Report.
I think
Hold
that's going to
on.
be a wait for the.
Oh,
minutes
yeah.
to come out.
It's refer to the Economic Development Committee, so it's going to subcommittee. So all they did was just move it along to a subcommittee review. So that'll be at a upcoming Economic Development subcommittee meeting, and then it'll come back to the council if the Economic blah blah. If that subcommittee votes it out, you know.
Yeah.
So that could be, you know, next week or next year or never.
Definitely next year.
Yeah, definitely next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, So it's going to be interesting to see if they slow. And again, I think it'll just be a matter of, everything is slow for this council especially, and no one's ever in too much of a rush to do much of anything, it seems like. So
Right. And it'll be very interesting to see whether or not this this new administration really hustles at all to get reports or ordinance proposals or anything back to the city council. I mean, that blank agenda last week doesn't really is kind of telling. It's like, oh, this is your first manager agenda to put reports on for the city council to review after you got one of the most generous compensation packages of any municipal employee in the state, and it was entirely 100% totally blank. And there was no one seemed to care. So they didn't really send a strong signal to him that he needs to be keeping the council abreast of what's going on.
I think that's partially just it's 2 weeks before Christmas and none of the departments are probably putting anything out right now. But
yeah, that's true. That could very well be the
this
case.
has been a light agenda.
Yeah,
it's a week before Christmas.
Yeah.
Well,
last week was
okay.
last week was 2 weeks.
Ooh, I thought I had more time. I thought I thought I had more time.
Nope, you got less than a week.
The most interesting part of the meeting to me was in under suspension at the end of the meeting going, hey, remember my first order back in last January about warming and cooling centers? And we've heard literally nothing about that, despite the fact that everyone was like, oh, that's such a nice idea, such a good order, we should totally do that. And then just nothing. It's like kind of very telling of the relationship between city council and the administration. Like the administration just sort of does what they want, and the council either goes along or gets considered an outsider or a naysayer.
I think it's going to be interesting. When do we have our debate? When do we
Oh
host our debate?
Oh, we totally should. Over the summer or early
in the
fall.
summer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
we should
run a city council debate, Eric. We're gonna.
Really?
The candidates on. Yeah.
I would love to see us do one before the primaries and for the general.
Right.
Because
And the
no one
primaries
ends
will
up
be
doing one for the primaries, and
right.
Yeah.
The primaries will be in September, I think.
If there are primaries,
Yeah, hopefully there are.
which there probably
We'll
will
see.
be for at large.
Yeah.
At large.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, almost certainly.
But we won't really know the shape of the race till like March.
Yeah, we're gonna once we see how things are shaping up, but we're maybe the Olympia Theater. It sounds like especially we can get them to put that porn screen back in. Oh well. Look who decided to show up, huh?
Brendan, how was it? How was wrestling all those kids? Did you win?
I won.
Did you lose?
I kicked the shit out of 35 individual teenagers.
Nice.
They're all at the hospital now.
Nice.
That's great. That's great.
That's what's overloading the hospital?
Would you rather fight 35 teenager-sized ducks or 35 duck-sized teenagers?
Duck-sized teenagers.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah. Well, Brendan, you really didn't miss much. Attell had one good idea, and everyone gave their sort of towny grousing opinion about the idea. That's about the Big D shopping center, which you want to make into a water park.
Yes, that's going to be my municipal water slide and zip line. That's going to be the first stop on the zip line. Eric, you probably haven't heard this before, but the plan is to build a zip line from Worcester Airport all the way down to the Common. I think it's going to be the fastest route down from. What are you doing down there, Yenni? And then,
thanks.
But at that first stop off, we're going to have a nice water slide that'll run from the old Big D parking lot into Coe's Reservoir.
Coe's Reservoir. Okay. Yeah, we were talking about bringing back the canal earlier and possibly getting some log flumes that go down the hill into the canal.
Yeah.
And kind of making that essential
As opposed to
transportation
the logs that are
route.
currently running through the canal, which are not supposed to be there. Yeah.
Different type of log.
Yeah.
Different type of log entirely.
We love you, poop thing.
Well, are you saying you're telling my landlord? Because if you're saying you're telling my landlord, that's me.
Think can work.
Wow.
Here we go.
Look at this thing. They get real like Amsterdam
That would be so
like
awesome.
boats in there.
It would be cool. I don't know how the fuck it would work, but it would.
It would
be cool.
smell terrible.
I love it when
very
Worcester is
havoc
The
with our
Sims.
traffic patterns.
Man, look at all these people speaking Simlish.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
We gotta get them to hook up.
I pulled all the ladders out of the canal. Now you're
See how
Now
they
you're
made the
stuck on
bridge?
that gondola forever.
They made the bridge just low enough so homeless people can't hang around underneath it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of lights under there.
You're allowed to park on the bridge too, because we still got to be a car
Question I
centric
have
city.
is
so.
the waterway from that flowing into or out of Lake Quinsig?
Yes. It's a circle.
It's water country. It just goes around. Yeah.
Don't want
It's like a lazy river. It loops around.
Yeah, it's a pit. Yeah, it's a closed system.
Well, I mean, it's already a waterway. It's just underground.
Right.
I just wasn't sure if it was flowing towards the.
I don't think it goes to. I don't think it touches Quinsig. It's the Blackstone River into.
Yeah,
it flows south to north.
Doesn't
Okay.
it go to Providence? Doesn't it connect all the
Comes
way to
from-
Providence?
comes from
Right,
Providence
but
up.
the sewage stuff overflows.
Into like Quint, yeah.
Yeah. And that ends up contaminating the Blackstone River because the Blackstone River and Lake Quinsig kind of
They
share a
they share a
little bit
water
down
table.
at the end
yeah.
of it.
A poop table.
Who friggin' knows?
Yeah, a poop table in this case. Yeah.
Who friggin' knows?
It's
Never gonna
Christmas.
happen.
So was Mattel able to convince anyone that it was worthwhile to take the Big D by eminent domain, or are we going to sit on that for another 25 years?
We're gonna sit on that for another 25 years.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
Mo
just
Bergman
them
was like,
agreeing to a tiff.
Listen
Yeah.
to this for a second. This song is so sick. Listen to this shit.
Wow.
I have absolutely no idea.
All right, now stop it before we get a fucking strike. Listen to Onyx. Onyx rips.
Hell yeah.
Slam harder. I love. This is why De La Soul is my favorite group of all time, because they use Steely Dan songs to make their beats. For about like a third of their songs, I feel like. I love a strange source for a sample. And Welcome Back, Cotter is a great one. So
Fuck yeah.
All
right. What else?
How are you guys? I don't do a full replay for me, but I'd be fascinated to hear some of Eric's thoughts on the rezoning for weed in the city.
Yeah,
I've been trying to keep track of that and been not finding it easy one bit.
Yeah, so I guess they took it from one committee and passed it to another committee this meeting. So not much happened, but basically what that is doing is it's kind of updating the definitions at the local level to reflect the new definitions at the state level, because there's two types of delivery now for cannabis. There's the courier model, where you have to deliver products from dispensaries to customers, and you don't actually wholesale yourself. And then there's the wholesale model, where you actually buy directly from producers and wholesale the product and then sell directly to consumers, which is, from what I've seen, is resulting in a lot of very low prices for consumers at this point, because there's still not a huge amount of demand for delivery. A lot of people don't even know that delivery is a thing for cannabis at this point in Massachusetts. So you get some pretty good deals if you look into it right now. But basically this is just updating the local definition, because I imagine right now what's happening, I'm going to try to look into this further, is that there's a few delivery operators who are kind of stuck in limbo at the city level because they're waiting for their license type that they're applying for to be a thing at the city level. So I'm going to try to look into that, but yeah, it looks like it's getting passed through another committee, and then we'll eventually end up getting a full vote at the city council, probably late January at this point.
Do you know if we have any delivery folks other than Major Bloom?
Yeah, so it's actually a good place to plug my new Worcester weed guide that's on my Substack, because I get into that. In addition to talking about every dispensary in the city, I list all the delivery operators that are currently operating. Other than Major Bloom, right now, there's one called Kind Run, which is Major Bloom is the courier model. They have a retail license, so they can conveniently deliver from their own retail store. But Kind Run is a wholesale operator that based out of Hudson, but Worcester is in their delivery range, and yeah, they have a lot of really good deals right now in terms of pretty affordable products because they can buy directly from producers and then sell directly to the customers. So yeah, so people should check that out.
Eric, have you caught wind of any changes or anyone starting to think about zoning when it comes to the social consumption side of things?
That's a good question. No, I'm trying to look into that in the new year a bit with the government because there's going to be a pilot program at the state level to try that. I think Worcester definitely needs to be a part of that pilot program, but I think that they have to be proactive, the commission, the Cannabis Control Commission, and kind of reach out to them and make sure they're a part of that. Because obviously we have the Summit Lounge, which isn't quite a state-sanctioned social consumption site. They're technically a private smoking lounge because they wisely went to the city and got a smoking license and didn't tell them what they were going to be smoking.
That was awesome.
So amazing.
One of the greatest moves of all time, in my opinion. And the fact, I mean, looking back at Augustus's reaction to that is just so funny because he was like, "There's going to be hundreds of these places in Worcester now," and then there's been one. So, like,
he was such a piss baby about it. It was awesome.
He was so mad they got played because like that usually doesn't happen in city government. Like they usually don't get tricked by somebody like Kyle. So yeah.
By like a family too. Like Kyle and his family they're just it's such a wholesome place. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I love that place.
Yeah, I mean they did close the loophole pretty quick after he opened. At the state level. So that's probably why we don't have more. But yeah, I used to go pre-pandemic, but I haven't been since.
It's a great room. The great room
Anyone
for shows.
who's
Great comedy shows there.
Who's a fan of the idea of social consumption that's still watching, reach out to Dan Donahue, State Rep Donahue. He's the House Chair for the weed side of things now, and is super supportive and super friendly to the idea.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's actually really, I think he's genuinely interested in hearing from people in the community as to how that rollout should look. I think almost everyone agrees we've got some weird regs about the way we handle alcohol that should probably be rethought. And the commission seems really intent on trying to avoid making the same mistakes that the ABCC has in the past.
Cool.
Danny Donahue likes to get blazed up every weekend, baby. I went to high school with him. I know.
Never gonna know.
Wow.
Yeah, but social consumption is interesting. It's funny because Massachusetts was one of the first states to really pass that as a state wide kind of license structure. But since then, there's been very little progress, and other states have come along and actually passed it and kind of implemented it. So we're seeing them pop up in Las Vegas now and other places in the country. It's a really interesting business model. It's still to be seen how it works exactly. I think you need it to be an interesting place. It can't just be a place where you just sit on a couch and smoke. There has to be something to do. So it's gonna be interesting to see how like people spin off on make creative ideas with that.
Open the canal, and then we have little like cafes dotting it. Oh.
You're already seeing places using stuff like K9 as part of their menu offering. I think there's a place in Nashville that you can go and it operates just like a bar. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to serve in vapor glasses. You're going to consume just a little bit. It's going to be like a hookah lounge to some degree. But I think it's going to be very normalized. I don't think it's going to be in a dark room with furry cat posters.
No, it's going to be a movie theater. We're going to be showing Dude, Where's My Car every weekend.
They're going to exist. But what I'm thinking, and I'm going to estimate, is that it's going to double, if not triple, the amount of tax revenue that the state pulls in once public consumption, because you're going to increase the amount per sale and per interact or transaction. Like you're going to have to buy from the establishment when you go. A lot of these places won't let you bring your own in.
Right.
So I think the whole business is just going to be booming, and to be way ahead of it would only behoove us as a community.
Oh, totally. And I think the consumers, regardless of the price point you're shooting for, expect that markup too when everything is being provided. It doesn't matter.
It's novelty.
Right. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a dive bar or you're going to a high-end steakhouse, right? Like everybody knows that what you're paying for alcohol is, 500% markups or whatever the case may be. And the expectation is going to be the same on weed. It's more the vibe.
Yeah, I think you're spot on.
Yeah.
But it's definitely our services if we had a good WTA.
It's true.
That's true. That's true.
But the car service could stop at any fast food place you want.
Or just a couple of them long boys.
But you
I do like that he allows you to get delivery from anywhere.
Or just stop at the
That's so nice.
supermarket so Travis can pick up some ranch dressing. That's whatever
Thank you.
works.
That's what I was. No, you get somebody rocking one of those like a hawker things from the ballparks on the buses, and they could sell them, $2 candy bars or $5 candy bars. It'd be a killing.
We got to get Travis a beer helmet that we can load up with dressing, and you can just be doing shots of it as you walk around the city.
I can't believe everybody missed Travis doing a shot of ranch dressing.
It got clipped.
Chugging.
It got clipped. Yeah,
there is
it's
a
definitely
clip.
there.
Share it, everybody.
Speaking of dumb things, hey, Bill, how was tour? Did you have any fun?
That was
tour
great.
stories?
It was great. I got put in the box after Pontiac, Michigan, because we accidentally went to a gay bar for dinner before the show, and they got us all pretty loosed up, and they were like, you should come back after the show for karaoke. And I was just on one. I got so drunk, and I totally blacked out singing the first words of If I Could Turn Back Time by Cher. And the night after that, total blur, but I guess that I was being an impish trickster, trying to escape the hotel room and run around, and they had to actually pick me up physically and put me on the floor and put me to bed. So that was fun. No, it was really fun.
So that's what that tweet reply to your tweet was about.
Yeah.
Bill,
No, it was great.
If you could turn back time, would you change it though?
No, I'd be even more impish and a bigger trickster. But no, it was fun. Most of the shows were really good. And I got to wear a suit on stage in Boston. That was really fun.
That's great.
We all wore suits. It was nice. It was classy.
You looked
the rest
fantastic.
of the time, we just looked like shitheads. The rest of the time we were just wearing normal clothes and smelling bad. But that was great. That was really good. Very happy that they asked me to do that. And yeah, Born Without Bones is a great band, and they just put out a really awesome record called Dancer. That's like just fucking sick pop songs. It's really doesn't have much of the emo influence that they came up in. It's cool.
Like this
I really
kind of
stuff. Yeah, exactly, like that kind of stuff.
All right, cool.
Yeah, they're on YouTube. They're Born Without Bones on YouTube. Yeah,
check them out.
Yeah. The one of the music videos was at Ralph's. It was pretty cool.
Guys.
Oh, nice.
Oh my God, I've been waiting to find my hot girls here.
There they are.
Finally, I'll find my hot girls
so
here.
much on YouTube that we were
Sex
getting
Chat
spammed by
69
sex bots.
Wow, Sex Chat 69.
Yeah.
Black for
I've been to
5
Sex
minutes.
Chat
man.
1368. So.
Yeah.
Have to catch up.
Only 5 minutes.
Oh man. No,
We'll give it
tour
another
was
chance,
great.
They might.
I think unless anybody else have anything to say before the end of the year.
No, I'd say that to year in review, this has been a nice part of my life for a year.
Yeah.
I have
Being a
really
year.
enjoyed doing this. This is very fun, and thank you to everyone who watches this and to people who watch consistently and comment. This is they're watching the Worcester City Council is masochism, and this has made it way better. The difference between this and and watching it alone is unbelievable, and it's a lot of fun. I think we're doing something cool here. So
Yeah.
thank you everyone that's been a part of it.
Yeah, please, tell your friends about this. Ask them to watch it. If they care about anything in the city, tell them to come through us. If they want to talk, we love to. Could be. I mean, we have a great group of people, but there's a lot of issues that we don't get get around to, and I think we'd love to have more perspectives on here.
For sure.
If have friends that are at all hooked into Worcester politics or anything going on in the city, let them know that there's an avenue here. Follow us, because we'd love to turn this into a bigger thing. We'd love to be able to get advertisers and all sorts of things like that, which the more followers we have on this and on Instagram, we can do that more. So we appreciate your guys' support so much. This has been a great year for this. We've had a blast. We had some crazy shows. Our election night coverage was
So fun.
incredible. The party, the election celebration party was the fucking craziest.
Pinnacle of our careers.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we want to keep building it. We want to keep doing more things. We want to expand this, and next year we're hoping to do some in-person stuff, and invite people out, and maybe have a have a good time. For a show, or for we're gonna figure it out. So, keep watching, keep commenting, keep emailing city councilors and telling Kate to me that she's stupid. And
Meat
vote
boy.
against her. Yeah. As always, billshaner.substack.com. Make sure you're following him on there. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're paying him so that he can pay all of your friends and all of our friends to write for him.
And my rent.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, also important. He can't lose this apartment because he needs to keep professional wrestlers with a couch to sit on. Speaking of professional wrestlers, throw it up. Yeah. Ooh, look at that graphic. Yeah.
Happy Hanukkah, Brian.
Yeah.
I made you a little gift.
That is, I'm assuming Anthony Bourdain under there. I can tell.
I don't know. Nobody knows. It's a masked man
wearing a Fuego del Sol mask. So yeah, follow us on there. We do podcasts whenever we can. Really, we're gonna try and record one late tonight. It was Mystica. You're right. I fucked that up. Thanks, Gio, for keeping me honest. Make sure that you're pressuring Brendan into when he's not beating up children, into restarting his podcast, 508 Show about Worcester.
One of these decades.
If not, we're just going to start a wrestling show where he fights different aged people.
Animals too. I would be totally, if you can get animals.
A koi wolf, maybe?
I'd be down. Yeah.
You gotta find that one from your yard.
It's really only primates that I'm terrified of. I'm down to at least give a shot with anything else, but large primates scare the hell out of me.
No, we don't want your
any other animals.
Would you actually go up against like a swan?
Those
things are nasty.
I could tell you a really funny story about an encounter that I had with a duck that involved a lot of alcohol at a party years ago, and I did win.
Let's put that behind the paywall on Bill's Substack. That's how we're gonna make that happen. Make sure that you're following Eric's Substack. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. Burn After Reading. I think is it Burn After Reading 420 is the handle?
Yes, on Instagram. Yes, until Mark Zuckerberg bans me if you're posting marijuana content. But
so again, thank you guys so much, Yenni. Thank you for all of your your knowledge you brought to us this year, your support as always, and for having a dog that is fucking killer comedy timing.
She does have good bark timing.
Yeah, hell yeah. Pay Travis to do graphics for you, everybody. Make sure you're doing that. I'm just getting in all the end of the year stuff. If you want to, if you need a mural or anything on your building, you won't. No, all right.
I'm too expensive. No, go to seltzertime.com, buy some merch.
Do that.
Everyone needs a logo.
Meet his quote. Meet his quote for a mural. But
it's so much work.
All right, man. Nobody wants.
Sorry,
to work anymore.
I'm sorry.
Jesus
I'm whining.
Brian's trying to be nice. Let him be nice.
God damn it, Travis.
He's trying to send work your way.
Yeah,
you're right. I need to afford more ranch.
You never do this to me. You never tell anybody to make a movie.
You spill enough of it.
Keep this boy in his ranch. And I don't mean the shape of his house. I mean he drinks ranch with every meal. So yeah, we love you guys so much, all of you out there. Thank you so much for joining us for another year of Worcester Council Theater 3000. Year 3,
back.
Here we come.
Yeah, we're back the first week of January.
See you next year, everybody. We love you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
Happy New Year, everyone.